And good morning. It is a Monday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. I would be Glenn. He is Griffin. Tonight, we need you. Chick-fil-A Nottingham Square, 5198 Campbell Boulevard in the Nottingham Square Shopping Center. 6 to 7:30, we will be there. So will Michael Pierce of the Baltimore Ravens. We are collecting toiletries and underwear for the men and women of the Helping Up mission. And we need you to come join us. Anyone who brings either $25 worth of toiletries and or underwear or makes a $25 donation, cash, PayPal, Cash App, Venmo. I don't know, we'll probably take a wire transfer. Western Union, is that still a thing? Whatever you need to do in order to make it happen, we'll get you there. But anybody who does can get a picture or autograph from Michael Pierce. And even if you don't want that, even if you've met Michael Pierce, even if he came out to the Tyus Bowser show a while back when he was there, even if you're not a Ravens fan, even if you're not a football fan, I don't know why you'd be listening. It'd be very odd. But if you know someone in your life who's not a football fan, I just need you to come tonight. Tonight really is how I judge whether the holidays worked for me. I appreciate all the money that you guys raised. Don't get me wrong. And we're going to, I think, spend it tonight. In fact, after we finish up at Chick-fil-A Nottingham Square. I appreciate that. But like tonight, this has always been a very special event. Over the years, I know Bradley and Nikki Bozeman were involved. Our buddy Zach Merrick from All Time Low has been involved over the year. This has been kind of the one for us. So we're asking you, please join us tonight. Chick-fil-A Nottingham Square, 5198 Campbell Boulevard in the Nottingham Square Shopping Center, as we will be collecting toiletries and underwear for the folks at Helping Up Mission. And if you have any questions at all, please send me a note, glennclarkradio@gmail.com. Act like, hey, could they use this? The answer is almost always yes. Everybody who's asking me, hey, you guys used to do coats. I have coats. Bring them. I'll get them. They'll use them, I promise. That's not what we're collecting this year. We can't have too many of them. But if you got them, bring them. But that's not, tonight, what you need, $25 worth of toiletries and or underwear or a $25 donation, and we Gucci. Cool? Capiche? Thank you. See you tonight, Chick-fil-A Nottingham Square. Qadry Ismail will join us in a few minutes. Jeremy Conn joins us a little bit later on the program. Yes, the Ravens were victorious last night. If you missed any of our Project Game Day post-game show, I encourage you to check it out. You can go into the archives. You can go to facebook.com/PressBoxSports. Click on the videos tab, youtube.com/PressBoxOnline. It's there. Project Game Day, every game day this season. Brought to you by PressBox, Grade 8. No, that's the Tyus Bowser show. What am I doing? It's brought to you by PressBox. Yes, that's true. But also AJ Michaels, Superbook Sports, and HelpMyGamblingProblem.org. Last night, Femi said something interesting, and I was thinking about it and the moment he said it, which was, the funny part about last night is that you can't define Lamar Jackson's performance by his numbers, which somebody would say, it sounds like you're trying to pull out the old eye test. And we all watch the same game, and we all know that what happened last night is the reason why Lamar Jackson deserves to be in the top tier of MVP consideration. And yet, the numbers say 14 to 24, 268 total yards of offense, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, which sounds pedestrian. Sounds like, it was a fine game. Fine. That's what it sounds like. But every single one of us that watch knows how much more it is than that. I've seen a few different people attempt to describe it. I've seen a few different people attempt to tell the story without using numbers. My buddy Spencer Schultz, who of course does picks for us every day at PressBoxOnline.com, described it as like a Rocky Balboa performance. Not always perfect, right? Rocky Balboa wasn't Muhammad Ali. Rocky Balboa would regularly be in trouble. What did he say? I'm trying to get the exact words that he used because I did like them. He had a Rocky Balboa performance tonight. It wasn't pretty at times, made mistakes, but had a steely resolve and did what it took to deliver the knockout blows. There is no one player doing more for their offense than Lamar Jackson. That sentence is the MVP argument. The MVP argument is you couldn't put anyone else. Maybe Jalen Hurts. Maybe.
As in, what this team is without him?
No, you couldn't take them, put them here, and get the same results. With all due respect to Brock Purdy, and I do mean that, Brock Purdy would not be having anywhere close to the type of season that he's having in San Francisco if he played in Baltimore. This is an impossible. It's the difficulty of having the MVP conversation. It's impossible. The eye test part is the part where we say, we see what Lamar Jackson is doing. We see how much trouble he's in. We see how he's making something out of nothing. We see it constantly. We know. There's no statistic that we can turn to with simplicity to define it. The throw to Isaiah Likely last night, there's plenty of advanced stats about the throw itself, and say there's like an 18% completion probability, which, by the way, how was there an 18% probability of that working? It seems like it should be about 6%. You can find those things, but it's harder to find statistics for the entirety of games or for the entirety of the season to define how Lamar Jackson is making it work. Last night helped define that. Last night, when the tackles were getting their asses kicked, Lamar Jackson made it work almost single-handedly. Not single-handedly, but almost single-handedly. That's the MVP argument. Will he win? I don't know. Next week will go a long way. Like, I'm not saying MVP's at stake next week, but it's possible. It's possible that if the Ravens go into San Francisco and beat the 49ers, that it will declaratively put Lamar Jackson at the top of the MVP conversation. Meanwhile, if the 49ers handle their business, there's still going to be some conversation about Brock Purdy versus Christian McCaffrey, but considering we're not allowed, for whatever reason, to give MVP to anybody but a quarterback, it might clinch MVP for Brock Purdy. It could be that next week defines the MVP race. Which doesn't mean, and it was another interesting point that came up last night as part of Project Game Day. It doesn't mean that Monday night's game is season defining for the Ravens. In fact, it's almost the opposite. Of the 5 games post-bye, no game is less important than this one. Well, maybe the Rams game was less important, although it was at home. So I'd argue that made it more important. You needed to hold your home field. No game is less important than this one is. It's the biggest heavyweight fight of all of them. This is Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant. This is Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis. This is that. Ali Frazier, whatever you want to call it. But in terms of results and what it means, none of them are less important than this one. This was always the one that the Ravens' reasonable path to becoming the number 1 seed in the AFC, if they were to lose a game, this was the one they could lose. Oddly, even if they win it, it only really means as much as they follow it up with. If they win this game and turn around and lose to Miami, it doesn't mean all that much they won the game. If Miami beats Dallas this week and then beats the Ravens, they're going to be the number 1 seed. Obviously, depending on the results of Week 18. It's going to feel titanic this week. It's going to feel, the word Super Bowl preview are going to be thrown around ad nauseum. It's going to feel like the game of the century of the year. It's going to be all of that stuff. But the truth is that it's not actually that important. And that's the weird part. It's far more important for esoteric reasons than it is for actual reasons. This is the tell me I'm pretty thing. We all want to feel like the prettiest girl at the ball. And if the Ravens go into San Francisco and beat the 49ers, then they're going to be number 1 on all the power rankings, and they're going to be talked about. They're going to be the team to beat in the NFL. They're going to be all of those things, and it's going to make you feel really pretty. Does it matter? Not a lick. Not even a little bit. But it's esoterically important. Realistically, almost not at all. Almost irrelevant. The Miami game is the one that matters. Now, if you want to say, hey, if Miami were to lose to Dallas and the Ravens were to beat the 49ers, we can have the conversation again. Like, what you're going to attempt to do is say, hey, the Miami game all of a sudden doesn't mean all that much if you win and Miami loses. Well, one, let's see what happens when Miami plays Dallas. Perhaps if they lose that game, then all of a sudden we can talk about how much more important Monday night's game is, because it gives you the ability to make that one not matter. But we're going to be okay. We're all going to feel good if the Ravens lose to Miami the following week at home. We're all going to say all those esoteric feelings that you're going to build up, if you turn around and lose that game, you're not going to suddenly say, well, yeah, but they won last week. The Miami game is the one that's likely to matter the most, almost certainly. But it's going to be a fun week. It's going to be a very, very fun week building up to this. There's a little holiday getting in the way, and that'll distract from it.
Dumb holiday.
Stupid holiday. Of all the weeks to have a game of the century of the year, it feels like we could have used this like 3 weeks ago. And maybe a dumb one this week would have been nice. Like, this would have been a good week for
Raiders Chargers.
And what was what's been the least significant game on the Ravens schedule this year? It's a fair question, right? Because
the Cardinals game. I don't know.
Yeah, the Cardinals. It's exactly what it was. This would be a good week for a Ravens Cardinals game that no one cares about. Like, just going through the motions. It'd be a good week for that because none of us have the time or the effort, the energy, and we all want to take days off, and we all want to get ready for the holiday.
It was perfect last year because they played the Falcons the Christmas week. So
they also didn't have Lamar Jackson, so
that is true as well.
Kind of nothing mattered at this point in the year. No disrespect. I know they made the playoffs, but like the Ravens, of course, clinching their playoff spot again last night, so we know they are in. Now they've got more work to do. And look, the other thing too about the next 2 weeks is that the Browns are not relenting. They're still in the conversation. And unlike the Bengals, the Ravens don't have the tiebreaker yet. So you got to keep your foot on the gas. Well, the Jaguars are the perfect example of this. The Jaguars were cruising in the AFC South. 3 straight losses, and all of a sudden things have changed. Now, again, I don't expect the Ravens will lose their last 3. But next 2 weeks are really tricky. And you got to make sure you don't invite the Browns back into the AFC North race. So you want to add a little importance to the 49ers game because of that? I guess you can. I really come down to, like, it's Miami is up here, 49ers right here. And for the base levels right here, that's probably where the Steelers game is. Which only becomes important if somehow you stub your toe over the course of the next 2 weeks. You screw the next 2 weeks up. I don't know. We'll talk.
And the Steelers figure out a way to,
I guess, right?
Look competitive.
I guess. Well, for the Steelers, if there's any way that they can spoil something for the Ravens, that would still.
Yes, they will show up.
Yes, that would still matter to them in some form or fashion. The other storyline, of course, from last night is the Keaton Mitchell injury, and it's just crushing. It's crushing. It's one of the coolest stories in recent Ravens history, and beyond that, he's just a damn good football player. It'd be a good story if he was having a so-so season. It's so much more than that. He hasn't been having a so-so season. He has been electric every time he's touched the ball. He's averaging 8.4 yards per carry. That's insanity. It sucks. Everything about it sucks. What does it mean? Well, we know. It means more Justice Hill. Which either means rip up all the zone read plays or, and they haven't been doing it. Femi pointed that out last night. They really haven't been doing a lot of zone read. Rip up any thought of doing the zone read stuff, or you better have cleaned up the mesh point. Justice Hill has had a nice season other than fumbles. Save for that, he's been effective. Now, I get it. Like, that's not a good thing for us to be saying, hey, other than this, you can't fumble. You can't turn the ball over. Justice Hill has been effective. Melvin Gordon will move back into the mix. Early on in the season when Melvin Gordon was active, he was helpful. I don't want to oversell that. And Melvin Gordon also has a history of fumble problems. So those are two things that you sort of add into your calculus of concerns. As far as sheer impact, as far as danger is concerned, versatility, all of it. Losing Keaton Mitchell sucks. It sucks that, you know, as good as you feel about the fact that Lamar Jackson is still on the field, you know this is a Ravens team that's lost their best pass catcher and two of their top running backs now this season. You'd rather have Lamar Jackson on the field, and that's the reality. There's one guy whose injury ends the season. That's him. Everybody else, it stings. And the Keaton Mitchell thing stings like hell. And for a Ravens team that once again last night showed that they were better when they committed to running the football, you'd like to have your most dynamic player on the field in order to do it. And Keaton Mitchell's been the most dynamic. Gus Edwards, you're asking him to go back to being your workhorse. And for Justice Hill to provide you more dynamicism. Ugh. Easy for me to say. I talk for a living. There's nobody on the street that's even worth having a conversation about. I mean, there's no one sitting out there. Like, if you're wasting your time today on, like, well, you could sign Adrian Peterson, just stop. Stop.
That'd be pretty fun.
No.
Le'Veon Bell's out there.
No. Oh, yeah, sure.
He knows
they tried that.
Knows the locker room.
He knows the locker room. You're right about that. They tried that. How'd that go? Which doesn't mean they won't sign somebody to the practice squad the day after they elevate Melvin Gordon. They probably will, but just nobody that is of any sort of difference maker. There's no Keaton Mitchell that can be had this deep into the season. It's what it is. You're going to have to make it work. And it stings. I mean, it just stings. Kudos to Isaiah Likely, who has stepped up big time. Post Mark Andrews injury, he's been awesome. And you're going to need these guys to step up in the same way without Keaton Mitchell being on the field. Justice Hill specifically. Again, Justice Hill was having a nice season. He was putting together a solid season, save for the mesh point. So it's a big moment for him to, and it looked pretty good last night, step back in. Is he going to give you 8 yards per touch? 9 yards if you include the pass catches? Probably not. Probably not going to do that. But he's played well, and he's going to get his opportunity to prove that he can do even more than that. And he's also been very solid in pass protection. So I'm not down on Justice Hill. It's just crushing because Keaton Mitchell has been playing so well. All right, in a second here, we're going to chat with Qadry Ismail. Today's show is brought to you by Superbook. Download the Superbook app. Visit superbook.com. When you sign up, use the code GlennClark23, and you will receive up to $250 in a same-day first bet match, win or lose. Tonight, numbers moved a little bit. Eagles now favored by 3.5 tonight. So there's a hook in play for tonight's game. And looking ahead, obviously Week 16, looking at the Ravens and 49ers. Ravens, significant road dogs. I thought the number was going to be 3.5. The number's 5.5. 49ers, big favorites on Monday night. 5.5 is the number. You feel like that's too rich? I would sign up right now. Use that code, GlennClark23 at Superbook.com. And when you do, get up to $250 in that same-day first bet match, win or lose. I happened to bump into our next guest for just a second on Saturday. He was out at Grade 8's Memorabilia's Rolling with Santa party that my kids wanted to come to, and I was able to chat just for like a second because he was in more demand. Believe it or not, he was signing more autographs and taking more pictures than I was. I couldn't believe that. His line was very long. My line was nobody. He is, of course, Super Bowl champion, WJZ 13 analyst. He is our friend, Mr. Qadry Ismail, and he's back with us now here on GCR. What's going on, brother? How are you? Happy holidays to you.
Yeah. All those salutations. I'm in a little bit of a funk.
What's going on with you? What's the deal?
Man, Keaton Mitchell.
Sucks,
that's what's going on. Our home run threat. We just kind of, mother of pearl, was going along, minding our own business. Everything was fine, and we find that he was healthy, and then all of a sudden he just explodes in the Seahawks game, and all the goodness, wholesomeness of an explosive player that is a strong complement to number 8. And now we are back to the beginning.
All right, let's talk about it because it sucks. I mean, there's no way around it. It's not only, it's one thing that it was one of the coolest stories in recent Ravens history. It's, to your point, someone who was performing at a special level. I mean, almost insanely special level. In the neighborhood of 9+ yards per touch this season. I mean, that's bonkers what Keaton Mitchell was doing. That said, Justice Hill has played well, save for the mesh points, save for the fumbles. Justice Hill has performed well this season. How significant to you is the drop-off if Justice Hill can keep performing well and not have the fumble issues creep back up?
See how you did that? See how you had to...
I know. I had to throw a caveat in. I understand.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. See, we didn't have all those caveats when it was sitting there chilling out with our guy Keaton Mitchell. We just had, okay, cool, look, here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. You good? Yeah, I'm good. Bam, done. And you could see, I mean, heck, he started the game. You could see where they were giving him more and more carries. It wasn't like they were just, bouncing him to the outside. It was some really good, complete running back type movement and play calling and opportunity. And it just sucks now because it's not that I'm saying that, oh boy, is incapable. He is capable, but he's going to need to make sure he's on point. What does on point mean? He's going to need to make sure that he's able to hold on to the ball, able to have the mesh point. Those are some basic things that, you shouldn't have to take for granted. And that's what I'm kind of, I'm sitting here mulling over. Like, this is crunch time. This is when you need to play your best. And sure, we can say he might be able to do what needs to be done, but still, I don't know.
I understand, Qadry. I understand everything that you're feeling, but it sounds to you like the way it's coming out, like, man, this could be the thing that derails an otherwise potential Super Bowl championship season. Is that what you're saying?
It's not that it would derail it. It just makes it so much more challenging. With Keaton Mitchell in there, I mean, good God. Now you can go ahead and play all that zone all you want behind it, thinking you're going to stop the receivers down the field, and You can have him just have the ball in his hands. He's going to get minimum of 12 yards. You can, think you corralled him. Not many guys can stop, turn around, and do a Marcus Allen and go cross the grain and get up the field. And obviously Marcus scored and it was in the Super Bowl, but you get the point. Like what he did on a 24-yard run is you just don't do that in the league. You don't, there's just so much speed that, angles of pursuits and all that. So for him to be able to do that was awesome. So it opens up and it gives your offense more freedom than you otherwise would have.
Qadry, I feel like, to me, as concerned as I am about the Keaton Mitchell thing, I feel like the play of the tackles and now Ronnie Stanley being in concussion protocol on top of it is almost more concerning, right? Not to say that, like, I know it's a step back because I know how well Keaton Mitchell has been playing, but I feel like part of that is I am nervous about how much you continue to ask of Lamar Jackson. Not that he isn't Superman and isn't capable of continuing to make magical things occur, as he did a few times last night, obviously, including the Isaiah Likely play. But how much can you continue to ask of him when it seems like they're getting their butts kicked? And, oh, by the way, Chase Young and Nick Bosa are on the docket next.
Right. That's what I'm saying. And that's why Keaton was so special, because you go ahead and, go upfield and try to get to Lamar. And now, so you got 34 back there and he can make two guys miss. And now he's down the football field for a big play. It's multiple. It's not just one person, that makes a team a special team that obviously pushes you towards the playoffs and number one seeds and Super Bowls and all that. I mean, you had, for example, Kansas City Chiefs had a Travis Kelce and a Tyreek Hill, and it was like, my God, pick your poison to go along with the special play of Patrick Mahomes. And so I think for the tackles, it is a concern. It is a huge concern. It is a huge concern that, Ronnie Stanley has been really struggling with his knee and really struggling. As much as I do movement performance training, I was very surprised that you heard Chris Collinsworth say, man, Ronnie Stanley, because of all the injuries and the compensation, he wasn't able to get down low to kind of root out that block, and it wound up having to do helmet on helmet. And to be honest with you, I've seen guys, I myself have been there before, where you have an injury, you can't necessarily cut or break the way you want to. Ronnie can't necessarily get down low the way he wants to. And we've seen him be able to do it before, so it's not like he wasn't able to do it. That's what is so concerning. And teams now are smelling blood in the water. This is a great opportunity, or was a great opportunity, to really assert your dominance. But now, this is, again, all hands on deck, and this is football, and football is football. Who knows, what lies ahead. Obviously, Brock Purdy is going to be under siege. I think the fact that you saw Matthew Stafford a few weeks before this 49ers game is going to be really cool, because some of the things and concepts are very similar. So it's not going to surprise you. But, it's frustrating and disappointing, because it's such a good ball club. And you can even see also, just to add on to that, I know I'm going a little bit, in my rant, but I'm in the mood this morning. But, you could see where, from a Lamar Jackson standpoint, right as the game was kind of winding down, final 2 minutes, you see where he kind of barked out real quickly, tell everybody to kind of settle down and re-lock in. And I thought that was really critical, because you could see where, Lamar, and I even saw some of the tweets this morning where, Marlon was saying Lamar is different, and, even encouraging him to play better and all those things. But you could sense the urgency, and it's right there for the taking. And that's why I'm frustrated with the Keaton Mitchell issue, as well as with the offensive tackles and their play.
He is Qadry Ismail. He is with us here on Glenn Clark Radio. Qadry, I want to present something to you because in talking last night, and I was chatting about this with Femi, I feel like there is a thought process this week that is you're going up against those two otherworldly edge rushers with tackles that are struggling, and you may or may not even have Ronnie Stanley. You also lost your top, explosive playmaker. This game isn't going to be the one that defines the season. As big and as titanic as it feels right now, Ravens 49ers, it's arguably of the 5 post-bye the least important game that the Ravens are going to play based on what their goals are, right? The Miami game clearly far more important a week after that. There is a thought process of, hey, you want to go try to win the game, but the most important thing to do is keep Lamar Jackson upright, don't allow him to get hurt, and get out of this and be ready for Miami the following week. I understand a team can't think that way. Like, you can't go in this week and say, hey, we're not worried so much about whether or not we win this game. But is there a way that you can construct a game plan to say, let's maybe run the ball, let's not do anything crazy here, because it's not necessary.
Let me cut you off right now,
okay?
Because that type of mentality is a loser's mentality. It irks me when I hear that, because you never saw in the 11 years run of Super Bowl championships and all that from Tom Brady and Bill Belichick and all those, especially the early years where the rules weren't adapted to protect defensive players,
right,
where the rules were a little bit harsher on the quarterback play. You didn't see them resting. You didn't see them doing all this. Like, man, are you kidding me? Like, the way the rules are constituted now, they are designed to make it easier for you. I think more than anything, you need to have a mental edge of toughness to be able to really run through any team. And it's cool in my mind that when you see this Ravens ball club schedule, they have that really tough schedule compared to other teams. I think it'll season them rather than sit back and be like, we should just rest them and just wait till the regular season ends and get into the playoffs. I think that is just a bunch of hooey.
To be clear, I'm definitely not thinking they should rest anybody on Monday. Not at all. And in fact,
but you're saying taking it easy and all that.
Part of it is just
that's like sacrilegious football terms. The football gods would be like,
what? I agree. And I said, I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can walk into the building. There's no world where you could walk in and say that to a group of guys. That would be insanity. It's more, are you best suited in your play calling to try to run the ball more? And just say, we're going to limit how much we expose Lamar Jackson. We're going to run the ball.
No. You said that word again. Limit and expose. Like, oh, my gosh. Tom Brady was not limited and exposed. He slung it around, or Peyton Manning was slinging it and running it and doing all the things. Not necessarily running it, but you know what I'm saying? He was running the offense is the point I'm making. Drew Brees was running the offense. Patrick Mahomes wasn't sitting back like, oh, I'm just going to be dainty. No, he was running the offense. Not one time did they sit back and rest for Patrick Mahomes. He was like, man, I'm out here. I'm doing this thing. I'm dictating to y'all, not the other way around. Why all of a sudden we gotta be like holding kids' gloves to Lamar? Lamar's locked in. He's ready. Man, that dude is about to take this team and do what needs to be done. But sitting back and be like, well, that kid's glove thing, that doesn't work.
I really didn't know that we were going to get the word dainty on today's program, so I want to appreciate you offering us that one, because that's a 10. That's absolutely outstanding. So what's the path, right? Like, the Ravens are huge dogs on Monday night, Qadry. How do they go out and do this? What does it – no Keaton Mitchell, maybe no Ronnie Stanley, tackles that are struggling, a 49ers team that is firing on literally every cylinder. How do they go do this?
Yeah, they go do this by playing their brand of football. You're a Ravens defense that you face two quality quarterbacks and Trevor Lawrence and obviously Matthew Stafford. You faced some really tough receivers as far as what Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, and then you had some really interesting play at the tight end position that you're going to have to, address if you're, Patrick Queen and want that, mega contract, and you say you can play anywhere, any point in time, then if you're Roquan Smith, then you're going to have to, buckle up because they're a talented football team, and if you're a D-line and if you're Matabike who having an all-pro year, you're going to continue to, be in a conversation as an all-timer. Well, if you're baby, Aaron Donald, then it is time to show what you can do against a formidable offensive line that is going to try to impose their will. And I think at the same time, Christian McCaffrey, he's talented. Debo, he's talented. You got to put yourself in a position to stand up and hit him in the mouth and make sure that the Ravens, the AFC, that's a formidable opponent, and you just mess with the wrong team. Offensively, Tom Monken's going to have to figure out ways to get dudes the ball, whether it be, getting the ball out of your hand quickly, whether it be next level when it comes to, sitting there and connecting up when it's time to connect up. Obviously, they did a great job of Charlie Kohler and Isaiah Likely getting involved more, but I think there are creative ways that you can put pressure on that San Francisco 49ers defense.
I feel like the Likely story is one that we got to talk about more, right? Because he's not – I don't want to declare him as Mark Andrews today because you got to have you got to stack a few years of that. But I can't believe how well he has performed with the spotlight on him the way that it has been the last couple of weeks. I mean, this is – we knew he was talented, but to step up and in the biggest moments, right? They get backed up on the penalty last night, a 15-yard penalty, and then he's the guy that they're turning to. I can't say enough about how Isaiah Likely has stepped up.
Well, I think it's about, recognizing who you are talent-wise, getting the trust of the coaches. Obviously, Mark Andrews giving you some encouragement and understanding on, what to see, what to look for. And then, of course, it's being a baller. It's being, present. It's taking advantage of opportunities. This is, an opportunity league. If you take advantage of it, you're going to get more and more opportunities. I think that's what I see from him and what this ball club is all about. It's encouraging one another. It's, hey man, let's not sit back and waste what we got going on here. And I think a large part is the charismatic play and personality and who his presence is in Lamar Jackson that gives off that vibe.
It's been impressive. It's been really impressive to watch. All right, brother, why don't you remind everybody about missile training?
Yeah, man. From a missile training aspect, I'm a movement performance coach. It doesn't really matter what age you are, from my youngest, 6 years old, all the way up to my oldest, 84-year-olds. I have high-level athletes. I have working moms. I have, professional moms, dads, parents, family members, all that. Team training, missiletraining.com. That's missiletraining.com. You can reach out to me on there, and we could talk shop. And obviously, if you want to DM me and get some insight, then you can also DM me on Twitter at I am Qadry Ismail.
Always appreciate you, brother. Have a great week. Have a very happy holiday to you, your family, and we will talk again very soon. Thanks, as always, for doing this for us.
Indeed.
Qadry Ismail with us here on GCR. Dejected about the Ravens losing Keaton Mitchell, obviously, and I don't blame him for that whatsoever. Certainly, as you could hear, he wasn't saying that it was going to derail them, but it hurts, and it does. We can't shake that. The point that I'm trying to make about Monday is I want to be clear. Part of it is, what's your best hope of winning the game? I think it's trying to run the ball, trying to keep it away from the 49ers. I think it sounds like I'm saying you're not trying. It's almost the opposite of that, right? Like, what's the best way for you to try? And the best way would be to not have Lamar Jackson get blown up early on in the game. Is it that you fear those guys? Yeah. And part of it to me is, I keep coming back to, it's not the end of the world to me if the Ravens lose this game on Monday night. It's not. Even if they get their butts kicked. We're a reactive society. Today, the Dallas Cowboys stink. A week ago today, they were the best team in football. We're a reactive society. I'm not that type. It's not my thing. I still think the Cowboys are quite formidable. Thank God the Bills won that game. It really would have been a bloodbath for me in picks. It was bad, but it would have been an S show.
Yeah, welcome to the club.
Yeah, I'm not in your club, I assure you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not.
No. You were
I didn't have a good week.
Around with me.
I didn't have a good week. I'm nowhere close to your club, bro. We'll get to that in a second. If the Ravens lose on Monday night, to me, it's not that they were exposed or that they're frauds or any of those things. It's just they lost a game to a really good team on the road, and that happens. And then you go from there. But if you want to win, I think it starts on the ground. The Ravens were at their best when they were running the football last night. They had Keaton Mitchell. They're not going to have him on Monday. That's tough. But I think the story needs to be running the ball. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I wouldn't suddenly start throwing for the funsies of, throwing 50 times. I'm not. It's a fine line, right? Because somebody said you fall behind by 2 scores. You're not throwing to try to get back in. Yeah. I'm not avoiding throwing the football, but I'm not throwing on every down. I'm not. We can all say the same thing, too, about Lamar Jackson and his ability to avoid big hits. Down the field, it's extraordinary. In the pocket, tougher. Always going to be tougher. Even as elusive as Lamar Jackson is. Even no matter how many times last night we watched him create 5-6 seconds just with shiftiness. It's hilarious that Lamar Jackson gets angry when he's in like a 1-on-2 situation and gets sacked. He's furious about it. Because he genuinely, in his heart of heart, believes he should have somehow worked his way out of it.
He probably should have.
It's crazy. It's nuts. Like, in his mind, he screwed up. 2 defenders right there and right there. He gets sacked, and he's mad at himself. I should have gotten out of that. That's on me. What? It's nuts. All right, today's show also brought to you by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. The Toyota Tacoma comes in a range of models and trim lines, so you can choose the perfect Tacoma to reflect your unique personality and driving habits. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Tacomas from your local Toyota dealer today. Yeah, we'll go over picks from the week when we come back in, and we'll get into Pats on the Ass. That's on the way. We continue along on a Monday edition of Glenn Clark Radio.
Brace yourselves for an unparalleled game day experience at the new Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbook in Canton and Towson. Experience the thrill of live in-person betting with Baltimore's only state-of-the-art Vegas viewing TV experience. Choose between a person-to-person experience with their on-site tellers or the convenience of their self-bet kiosks to place your bets. Gather your betting buddies and head over to the Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbooks today. Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbooks in Towson and Canton, the ultimate destination for game day excitement, great food, and live in-person betting. Must be 21. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Go to mdgamblinghelp.org.
The latest edition of Pressbox is available now, and it's our very special annual Best of issue. On the cover, we celebrate Orioles manager Brandon Hyde as our Mo Gabba Sports Person of the Year, and the Orioles as our Team of the Year, with Stan the Fan Charles and Glenn Clark sitting down with Hyde to discuss his role in creating the culture that defined the Orioles' magic season. Also inside, we recognize the top people, performances, and moments of 2023. Pressbox is available for free at over 500 area locations, including 60 Royal Farm stores, and you can always find the entire edition edition, as well as the best daily coverage of the Ravens, Terps, and O's at PressBoxOnline.com.
Visit Harford County. Gear up for the holidays by supporting local with Small Business Saturday on November 25th. Take in the dazzling sights of the season with a Ladue Christmas at Ladue Topiary Gardens. Enjoy holiday lights, sing along to holiday songs, reserve a carriage ride, and sit on Santa's lap in Bel Air's Winter Wonderland, happening every Saturday from November 25th until December 16th. Nothing sparks that holiday joy quite like a festive parade. Head to visitharford.com and click on Events to see the full list of parades and so much more. In Maryland, you're welcome.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
There's so much focus on sports betting these days, but I want to talk about an area that nobody wants to gamble on, where you choose to go out and spend your hard-earned dollars to eat. The Costas Inn is no gamble at all. The quality on their menu is outstanding, and the value is off the charts with a great and varied list of specials Monday through Friday. And the staples of the menu, whether it's salads, burgers, fish, they're all fantastic. And I haven't even mentioned the crabs or crab cakes yet. So check out the menu for yourself at CostasInn.com. When choosing a place to dine, never gamble on the food you put in your belly. The Costas Inn at 4100 North Point Boulevard, or call 410-477-1975 for reservations and your steamed crab orders.
6 chicken tenders made from fresh, never frozen Royal Farms world-famous chicken, a family-sized order of Western fries, honey mustard dipping sauce, and a 2-liter bottle of Dr. Pepper. It's Royal Farms' new Tucker's Tenders Meal. It's Justin Tucker's favorite, and at only $19.99, it'll be your favorite meal too. The new Tucker's Tenders Meal, available only at Royal Farms. Now you can kick back, relax, and eat like a champion. Real fresh, real fast, Royal Farms.
Come for a game, stay for everything else. Book an unforgettable fall getaway in Charm City. Enjoy only in Baltimore festivals, mouthwatering eats, and endless entertainment. Treat yourself to a staycation in the heart of downtown, or try one of the city's many charming neighborhood hotels. And don't miss out on packages for free parking, breakfast, and more. Plan your stay at baltimore.org/hotels.
Don't forget about Project Game Day after every Ravens game this season. It's kind of like this show, except Rita's also there, so I actually think it's pretty good. But hey, you're already here now, so why don't you go ahead and keep listening to GCR.
Tyus Bowser Show returns tomorrow night. We will be at the Hamilton Sports Bar and Grill on Harford Road. Come join Tyus and his special guest. It's all brought to you by Pressbox and Great 8's Memorabilia with great sponsors, AJ Michaels, Superbook Sports, and HelpMyGamblingProblem.org. Tomorrow night, the Tyus Bowser Show, Hamilton Sports Bar and Grill on Harford Road. Come join us. Look forward to seeing you there. Find out more, PressBoxOnline.com/Bowser. All right, we continue along on a Monday edition of the program. Let's recap the week that was in picks. Yeesh. Could have been worse. Could have been worse for me. Thankfully,
Could have been worse for me as well.
Andrew Stecca went lone wolfie at the end, because if he hadn't, I would be multiple games back. Not only would I have surrendered first place, but I'd be multiple games back. Thankfully, that wasn't the case. Only one of us really had a particularly good week. Oddly, it was John Proctor, who kind of gets himself back into
Contention?
Yeah. Like, not, he can't be feeling good today, but he's back in the conversation. All right, here's how the week went. Chargers, Raiders. Sheesh, nowhere
Told you guys.
close. Yeah, you nailed that one.
I nailed this one.
And you got, like you said, you told us very clearly, Raiders in the under, and you got both of them. You nailed it.
I got the important one.
For who? For your wallet?
For this.
For this, yes, you got that.
This is a very important one.
Only myself, KZ, and Jeremy Conn were on the Chargers, and we shouldn't have been. Awful. Bengals really struggled, but ultimately did end up squeezing out a push as they win in overtime. That was dicey. They were down big in the second half, but Jake Browning
and T. Higgins making
one of the greatest touchdown catches I've ever seen. I mean, that was just every element of that. coming back, fighting for that ball, and then contorting himself. The argument being maybe he was better off not scoring a touchdown there because you don't give Minnesota any time at the end of the game. But, like, when you're trailing, you got to score. You have to. If it's a tie game, don't score. If trailing, you have to. Yeah. You have to try, and that was a hell of an effort. Yeah, they end up winning in overtime after getting a back-to-back 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1 stops. How in the era of the tush-push can you not convert back-to-back 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1s? But Minnesota couldn't, and because of that, the Bengals win. We all get a push on that. Indianapolis on Saturday. Slow start, but they got into gear, and they handled business against Pittsburgh since they were only 1.5 favorites. That was an easy cover. Griffin.
Yeah, I thought I was stealing a point here for about a quarter.
Yeah, for a quarter, it looked really good. I thought that way about Houston, Tennessee. Not that I was stealing a point, but that I was getting that point. Griffin, Kyle Ottenheimer, and Jeremy were all on Pittsburgh. Bit of a surprise, right, on Saturday night. Detroit dominates. I mean, that was never interesting, which I was okay with because I no longer have NFL Plus, apparently. I guess my subscription ran up, so I got home.
You got to talk to your NFL guy now.
Yeah, it's very awkward. Like, hey, man.
I was fine with it, too, because it was UFC night. So.
Although, is there another? Oh, it's the Christmas Eve games, NFL Network exclusive.
It was one of them's Peacock, right?
It's Saturday, but
Saturday,
the Christmas Eve game, I don't remember if it's a good game. I think it's the Broncos. Who are the Broncos? What's the Sunday night? The Sunday night game this week is not on NBC. NBC has the Saturday night game,
games,
and they got the Peacock game that's Saturday afternoon. The Sunday night game is an NFL Network only. And NFL Network, stupidly, even if you have a cable subscription, will only let you watch the games through NFL Plus.
Really?
And my NFL Plus expired.
I guess I'm not watching the game. It's Broncos.
Did you watch the games
Patriots.
on Saturday?
Yeah.
How'd you watch the games?
On TV.
Right. So can you be able to watch the game on
TV
on Sunday?
Okay.
I don't have cable.
Oh, you don't have cable. Okay.
I have a cable sign-in. I don't have cable any longer. So.
Gotcha.
Well,
you are going to miss out between the Broncos and the Patriots.
Yeah, you can't miss that one.
That
one's a thriller. I mean, I'll find a site, and that's what I did on Saturday. It was going in and out a little bit on the last game, but that's okay because it was not close, not competitive. Only Ken Zales, John in Little Rock, and Jeremy Conn were on the Lions in that one. Boy, the Tommy DeVito story was fun while it lasted.
Yeah, it was.
How dare we put our faith Tommy DeVito. Maybe that Tommy DeVito, Bryce Young, would you rather might go back to looking kind of silly.
Yeah,
Panthers got a dominant win yesterday. They scored 9 points.
Thrilling. Yeah. Thriller of a game.
Only John Proctor and Jeremy Conn were on New Orleans.
It helps when you just stop giving Bijan Robinson the ball altogether.
Yeah, I don't know. The Falcons are a tough team to figure out.
They're bad. That's
yeah, that's a good point. They're bad. That's a good point. Has nothing to do with our picks, as the rest of us were drunk on the Italian stallion, and it just didn't work out for us. Everyone, we had a social, and we were all socially wrong.
It's a sheep slaughter.
Correct. We were all on Green Bay. Boy, maybe Christian Watson's MVP of the league, right? Like the Packers are rolling. They look unstoppable. They lose Christian Watson. They can't win a game. Tampa, a perfect passer rating for Baker Mayfield at Lambeau Field.
Man.
As the Buccaneers win on the road, and we all missed that point. Tennessee gets up early. They get up big. I'm feeling good about myself. I'm like, all right, handled that one. And then I stopped watching the game. Went to the gym. Here's a fun story. My phone can't decide. Nothing in my life can decide where I am. The app on my phone switches from believing that my Fox affiliate is the DC affiliate to the Eastern Shore affiliate to sometimes, but rarely, WBFF to the Harrisburg affiliate. It's all over the place, the app on my phone.
You're well-rounded, yeah.
At home, it's always the DC affiliate, which is very annoying. It happened one time this year where both the Ravens and the Commanders were on at the same time, and they were giving me the Commanders game. And so we had to, recalibrate how it was that we're going to watch the Ravens game. It was very annoying. want to say that was the Colts game. So on
worth
top
it.
of everything else. So I get to the gym, and I'm like, well, I guess I'll watch the Chiefs-Patriots game because that's the one that's on TV. And I pull up my Fox app, and they're like, no, you can watch Saints-Giants. Why?
Because Tommy DeVito.
That's what I
We
watched.
know what you
They
want.
did switch over to the Browns-Bears game at the end, which was fun.
Yeah.
Moral of the story being,
Browns games always. I feel like they're always the longest game.
yeah, it is weird.
Like
right?
it feels like
went
they're
right
always
up,
playing until
It went
4:30.
right till 4:25. 100%.
Yeah.
They went right from the end of the game to, and now we get you to Buffalo.
Yeah.
The moral of the story being, I just stopped paying attention. They weren't giving me any updates on Houston, Tennessee. So I thought I had won this one comfortably, and that Sunday night was going to determine who was in first place in the league. Only to find out the game went to overtime, and Houston won. I guess, did Will Levis get hurt? Is that part of the story?
Yes. Will Levis, late in overtime, he got rolled up on, I think.
No, so that's not the reason why they lost.
Yeah,
It's
it wasn't
just-
the reason they lost. There was a weird clip. It wasn't really anything. Someone pulled a Tannehill out of context of him smirking directly after Levis got hurt. But it would look like it
Not
didn't
not
look right.
great.
Yeah,
Not great.
but it looked like somebody else was talking to him, so
All
it was
right.
probably out of context. But it didn't look ideal.
Paul, Proctor, Chell, Stecca, Conn, all on Houston in that one. Was stunned by how many of us were on Buffalo, and we were all right. They didn't just cover; they throttled the Cowboys. And Buffalo looks dangerous as hell. May we please keep them out of the playoffs? Just don't let them be a part of it. Let's keep all of these boring-ass teams in the playoffs and not have the Bills be a part of it. Thankfully, there's no selection committee that can swoop in and say, you guys that qualified, you're out. The Bills go in instead.
Gosh, they are still out. Wow.
Yeah, they're still out. And they don't control their own destiny. It's not like, hey, if they just win all their games, they're in. They have a few teams in front of them, too.
They
don't
have
they?
the Texans are ahead of them. The Colts are ahead of them. The AFC North is ahead of them. Well, I guess not the Steelers, but the Bengals and Browns are ahead of them.
Yeah.
So
They have. I'm just trying to do the math on
they
this.
are the lowest, ranked 8-6 team
right
in the AFC.
So they are currently in the 9th position in the playoff picture. I don't know how
They're
the tiebreakers.
4 and 5 in the conference. I would assume that does not help. That is
That's
probably the next
not
tiebreaker.
good. Yeah, that's probably not what you want to be. I have not looked at their schedule. They have a trip to the Chargers, win. They have a home game against the Patriots, win, and they have a trip to Miami. And we'll see. Like, that becomes
Yeah.
interesting, right? If the Ravens beat the Dolphins and the Dolphins.
Suddenly it might be for the division. If the who the Dolphins have this week? The Dolphins have the Cowboys this week. So
yeah, I guess it really could
Yeah.
end up being before the division. Very interesting. Very interesting. But, the Bills handily defeat the Cowboys. The only ones on the Cowboys were Kyle Ottenheimer, Ken Zales, and Ryan Chell. And we had a lone wolf on Jacksonville. Got a text from Andrew Steck at halftime last night.
say I meant to pick the Ravens.
No, that's not what he said. He went the other way.
He said, "Can I get 2 points?"
No, he said, hang on a second. I got to make sure. Said, it's funny. I still feel like I'm on the right side of this as a lone wolf. It should be 12-10 right now.
His Jags.
To which I said, you're cherry picking. You're ignoring that Lamar also threw a pick when the Ravens were driving, and that turnovers are baked into the Trevor Lawrence experience. Like, that's part of the deal. When you sign up for Trevor Lawrence, you have to accept turnovers. And then you add in the fact that, like, in order for the Jaguars to get the ball back to screw up at the end of the half, John Simpson had to commit an atrocious penalty. Otherwise, the clock keeps running there, and they likely don't have enough time, because they had no timeouts at that point, to go back and get into a position where they could screw it up. So there was a lot of that, like, oh, the Ravens deserve to lose. Yes, it's weird that the Jaguars missed 2 field goals. Like, don't get me wrong, but everything else I don't think is weird or lucky or any of those things. Like, I get it. The Trevor Lawrence
dropping
one,
the ball.
It's weird because he just dropped the football. It's not a play that the
I think he was
Ravens
scared.
made.
He saw Roquan Smith in front of
probably-
him.
that's
and
probably
he said,
what-
"All right."
But turnovers
Take it.
happen. Like, Lamar made a dumb decision on that interception on a night where he was phenomenal. That was a stupid. He had either a running lane or he could just flip the ball right in front of him. and he tried to force something that simply wasn't there. That happens. Let's spend a second, by the way, because I'm not in Jacksonville, so I don't care. But I ended up getting into a lengthy conversation with somebody on Twitter about this last night. We all know what the result was. I disagree with you guys about what the Jaguars did at the end of the half. I think it was the absolute correct decision to not spike the ball. 1,000%. And I will never, the only time where I think it makes sense to spike the ball in the NFL is when you're lining up for a field goal. If you're still trying, this is the NFL. You have worked on these situations a million times, and inherently after big plays, the offense has a massive advantage over the defense. The defense, those guys up front that have to rush the passer, are all gassed from racing down the field. Meanwhile, the offensive big boys, all they got to do is hold their ground. They don't have to be pushing into the backfield. They just got to try to hold their ground in that spot. There is a massive advantage for the offense in a scramble situation after a big play as opposed to the defense. Now, the argument back is, well, what happened last night is proof of why the Jaguars panicked. Trevor Lawrence panicked.
They made the right decision. The execution was extremely poor.
Both making it a cause and effect is the problem. Two things occurred. The Jaguars didn't spike the ball, we're in a scramble situation, and Trevor Lawrence made a bad decision. What you can't say is Trevor Lawrence made a bad decision because the Jaguars were scrambling. Maybe. Might it have had something to do with it? Maybe. But I'll never be in favor of wasting even a second in those situations. You're an NFL team. You have worked on these things. You know what you're supposed to do in these spots. Get up, have a play that you can check into quickly, and go. Try to score. And as much as we say, well, it only takes 1 or 2 seconds to spike the football, that might be the difference in you having 1 or 2 seconds to line up and kick the field goal or an extra play. Because if the difference between there's 4 seconds left, can we run another play before we have to kick the field goal, or there's 6 seconds left, can we run another play before we have to kick the field goal, is significant. I'm always in favor of it. Trevor Lawrence just couldn't throw a ball inbounds short of the end zone. Like, that's once he saw that Zay Jones was locked up. And he did take a second. Like, there was a second there before he brought it out to Washington. Once he sees that Zay Jones is locked up, which he was, he's just got to throw the ball through the back of the end zone.
And credit to, was it Marcus Williams that made that?
Marcus Williams.
Marcus Williams. So,
yeah, it was Marcus Williams. Made a nice play. You know, that's what it is. I disagree with you guys that think that that's proof that you have to spike the ball there. I don't. And it's not even like it was a fake spike or some sort of gimmick. It was, let's go. Let's run a play. We have worked on this situation. We're ready to go. Just didn't work out for him. Kind of is what it is. All right, so the only one of us that was on Jacksonville was Andrew Stetka. And that was important for me because otherwise I'd be 3 games back. Instead, just 1. For the week, high water mark was John Proctor. He went 6-2-1. Couple of 5-win weeks. Paul Valley had a 5-win week. So did John in Little Rock, as did Jeremy Conn. Best sign of life he's had all season. Problem is, he's still 18 games back. Probably not going to make a difference. 500 weeks for Nick Kelly, Ryan Shell, and Andrew Stetka. Griffin and myself, rough 3-5-1. Same for Ken Zales. The low water mark of the week was Kyle Ottenheimer.
I may have to. I mean, I got the Bills game right, so I may have to continue using the coin. I don't know.
Oh, right. It might be a better.
It might be.
That might be your own.
I'm 100% on the coin right
now. The reality, Andrew Stetka, who is, if he wins, remember, is allowed to quit. If he wins, he can be out of the league this year. And because he can't avoid losing in spectacular failure, it's now he has to win or he can't quit.
Or maybe he does somehow spectacularly not lose. Like he falls
just
all the way.
loses all the games.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. And I still it stays close and I still lose.
He's 31 games clear of Jeremy.
Well, So he has to be
avoid
bottom.
Losing, yeah, avoid being the big loser.
Okay.
I don't think Scott
I
counts
feel like
here.
a loser. So
myself, John, and Little Rock are a game back. KZ is 2 games back. Nick Kelly, John Proctor, 3 games back of the top. Then Ryan Shell, 5 games back. Paul Valley, 6 games back. There's a new Vice Stap. The Vice Stap is Kyle Ottenheimer, who's 7 games back at the top and 6 games clear of Scott's stat position. That's where Griffin finds himself at 65 and 73. The only one of the originals that's under 500. The only one of the original 10 that's under 500 for the year.
I don't understand what I'm doing wrong.
Picking the games wrong, mostly.
I don't
wrong.
get it.
I
don't understand how I'm
a contest. Jeremy Conn
doing so bad.
Very comfortably at the bottom of the table, and a lot of people pointed out that Tommy DeVito's agent yesterday was dressed like the Notre Dame mascot. And if you haven't seen it, go find it. Jeremy Conn. Tim Belair sent me a text yesterday like, this is Jeremy Conn in a couple months. Like, you're right. It sure is. Those are picks. All of our spreads came to us courtesy of Superbook. Again, superbook.com. Download the Superbook app. Use the code GlennClark23 when you sign up, and you'll get up to $250 in a same-day first bet match, win or lose. When we come back in, Jay Gruden, he says the Ravens are the best team in the NFL. We'll talk to him about that next. It's Glenn Clark Radio.
What's up, everyone? It's Tyus Bowser, and I've had so much fun hanging out with Rita and putting up with Glenn the last couple years that I've decided to do it again. Season 3 of the Tyus Bowser Show is happening this year, as we'll be all over town, giving you the chance to get to know me and some of my teammates. As we talk football, life in general, and just say what needs to be said. You can find out more about the show by going to PressBoxOnline.com/Bowser. If you don't live in the area, you can watch the shows live on Facebook and YouTube. And if you miss one, you can listen Friday nights at 105.7 The Fan. So we'll see you all season long for the Tyus Bowser Show, a partnership of PressBox and Great Ace Memorabilia.
The next Tyus Bowser Show is Tuesday, December 19th at the Hamilton Sports Bar and Grill on Harford Road. It's brought to you by Superbook, AJ Michaels, and HelpMyGamblingProblem.org.
Why bet with the big boys this football season? Instead, try your hand with the local book, Superbook Sports, this fall. Superbook Sports is the book next door. Just a dedicated team of the best odds makers in Las Vegas, making sure you get the best prices and parlays anywhere. And now, Superbook will give you a bonus of up to $250 when you sign up and wager on the same day and use the promo code GlennClark23, GLENNCLARK23. So bet with the best and use the promo code GlennClark23 this football season with Superbook Sports. Visit Superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
There's so much focus on sports betting these days, but I want to talk about an area that nobody wants to gamble on, where you choose to go out and spend your hard-earned dollars to eat. The Costas Inn is no gamble at all. The quality on their menu is outstanding, and the value is off the charts with a great and varied list of specials Monday through Friday. And the staples of the menu, whether it's salads, burgers, fish, they're all fantastic. And I haven't even mentioned the crabs or crab cakes yet. So check out the menu for yourself at CostasInn.com. When choosing a place to dine, never gamble on the food you put in your belly. The Costas Inn at 4100 North Point Boulevard, or call 410-477-1975 for reservations and your steamed crab orders.
What company has the expertise to make your home healthier by purifying your air and killing all viruses, allergens, and bacteria? AJ Michaels, Heating and Air Conditioning in Baltimore and Annapolis, ajmichaels.com.
Visit Harford County. Gear up for the holidays by supporting local with Small Business Saturday on November 25th. Take in the dazzling sights of the season with a Ledoux Christmas at Ledoux Topiary Gardens. Enjoy holiday lights, sing along to holiday songs, reserve a carriage ride, and sit on Santa's lap in Bel Air's Winter Wonderland, happening every Saturday from November 25th until December 16th. Nothing sparks that holiday joy quite like a festive parade. Head to visitharford.com and click on Events to see the full list of parades and so much more. In Maryland, you're welcome.
Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today.
Hey Ravens fans, looking for the perfect new game day brew? Get a Guilford, Baltimore's finest craft beer during the next home game at the bank. That's not all. Gather your flock next home game and check out Guilford Hall Brewery's brand new bar, the Gilly Nest, located near Section 505. No tickets? No problem. Enjoy all Ravens games all season long at our restaurant and brewery in Station North. Guilford Hall Brewery, European tradition, Baltimore charm.
Sure, Glenn may be in his 40s now, but he looks just as good as he ever has, and he's still as sharp as he ever was. And I say both those things without even a shred of irony. Find out for yourself right now by watching the show at facebook.com/PressBoxSports or youtube.com/PressBoxOnline.
All right, the Maryland Stadium Authority this morning has approved the Orioles lease with the ballpark, and now the governor is going to hold a press conference, and I believe the final step is a public works meeting later on this afternoon, but I think I'm to understand that is fait accompli, and so it will finally be done as of today after the Stadium Authority approved the Orioles lease agreement with the state for Camden Yards. And so we saw some of the details come out over the weekend, a few, not everything, and I think some of the big things are that the development rights are not immediately into the lease. That will continue. They did separate the development rights. So the lease terms 15 years, and then it goes to 30 years if they get the development rights done. So that's the deal. We'll have more to say about it as some of the final word comes out about the lease over the course of today. But it looks like this long, forever long process is finally coming to at least a temporary conclusion today. Ravens, of course, big winners in Jacksonville last night, 23-7. Our next guest says they're the best team in the NFL, which is interesting ahead of their trip to San Francisco on Monday night. Joining us now, he's got a great video up today at the 33rd team. He is former NFL head coach, offensive guru, Mr. Jay Gruden. He's back with us now here on GCR. Coach, it's Glenn in Baltimore. Happy holidays to you. Thank you for taking the time for us once again.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Coach, I watched your video today, and everything that you said to me is similar to what we've said, that like this complementary football thing, the many options of the Ravens. I guess why right now are you confident they're a better team than San Francisco, who they're going to see on Monday night?
Well, obviously, these are the two heavyweights in the NFL right now, and we'll let it play out on the field, see what happens. I would imagine that there's a good chance they'll meet again in a Super Bowl, quite possibly. But both teams are similar in the fact that they can hit you a lot of different ways. Offensively, McCaffrey can hit you. Obviously, the running game for Baltimore can hit you. The only difference is, Brock Purdy's not very mobile, not like Lamar. Lamar had 97 yards rushing last night, and what he can do outside the pocket, off-script plays, design quarterback runs is a danger to defenses. I mean, when you start your preparation for Baltimore on Wednesday and you bring your defensive team in here, it's all about run fits and how you're going to stop the quarterback design runs. Where's Patrick Ricard lined up? What personnel groups are they in? And then you got to get to the passing game. And even though Odell only had one catch and Zay Flowers only had one catch, we know how good they can be. And Bateman and obviously Isaiah Likely's turned into be a pretty good tight end for Lamar as well. So they can also get you through the air. But I just like the fact that they can do a lot of different things offensively to hurt you. And then defensively, they're as sound as any group in the NFL right now. In the back end and the front end, they can stop the run with their big interior guys. That madman Justin Natabubuki guy, he's got 12 sacks. And obviously Clowney's got a second lease on life, and he's playing well. And Kyle Hamilton, I think, is one of the best safeties in the league as a young player. And I just like where they're at. I like the way they're built. And then special teams, we know what Jim Harbaugh does with special teams. They're always going to be a dominant force on special teams, which people tend to forget.
So, Coach, a couple things in there. You bring up Lamar, and last night, like the numbers say, he was 14 of 24. He had 268 yards of total offense, a touchdown, and a pick. And if somebody just read that stat line, they'd say, that's okay. That's not bad. But I think most of us that watched the game came away from it saying that last night made him worthy of being back near the top of the MVP conversation, because the plays that he's making, what he's doing when nothing is there, simply put, no one else is capable of doing that. How much of that do you feel like makes him worthy of being back into the MVP conversation?
He definitely should be in the conversation. I don't think he's a top dog right now. I think that's Purdy is the top dog right now with the efficiency he's playing. I think that's 7 games in a row, over 70% completion percentage. But Lamar, obviously, he's a different animal. They play the position differently. They're both excellent at how they manage the game and play the game. Lamar is just obviously a lot more athletic and does things with his legs that not many people can do. So it's hard to compare the two. You'd love to have both of them. If I was a coach, if I was fortunate enough to get back into coaching, I'd say, hey, you can have either Purdy or Lamar. I'd be tickled pink to get either one of those guys. They're both great players. But Lamar, some of the things he does, it's just fun to watch. I think he watched a lot of my tape when I went to Louisville. I think he learned a lot from me with the scrambling and all that stuff. So I'm proud that I made him into the guy that he is.
Yeah, I would absolutely continue to take credit for the rest of your life, Coach. I think
exactly right.
That is the play. Coach Jay Gruden is with us here on GCR. Obviously, part of the story, and they ran for over 200 yards just in the second half alone, and so much of that is Lamar, but Keaton Mitchell had been averaging over 9 yards per touch, which is just absolutely insane this season as a rookie, and now they lose him. How concerned are you about the loss of Keaton Mitchell versus, yeah, but they still have Lamar and Gus Edwards, and they still have the ability to be highly productive in the run game?
They do, but that is an impressive stat. If you're averaging 9 yards a touch, that's going to be hard to replace. I don't think Gus or Justice Hill can have that type of production, yards per touch, that's for sure. So Lamar, they'll probably have to design some more quarterback runs for Lamar, and Gus will have to get more involved. Obviously, Justice Hill is a good third down back. He's really good in protection. You see they feel good about him on third down because he knows how to pick up the blitzes and all that. So it's a drop-off, but I think they'll function. I'm worried about Ronnie Stanley. Obviously, had a concussion last night, so hopefully he gets back. But, the offensive line looks solid. Best center in the league, one of the best centers. Obviously, Zeitler's playing good. Morgan's playing good. So they have other pieces.
I'm going to ask you this question. I just posed this to my friend Qadry Ismail a minute ago. I'm going to ask you the same question. The Ravens, you bring up Ronnie Stanley. I think it might be the biggest concern is the overall play of the tackles, and then you add in Ronnie Stanley being in concussion protocol. Lamar is creating and making things happen, but you're asking an awful lot. Now you go into a matchup Monday night against Chase Young and Nick Bosa, and that is, to say the least, not favorable. Is there any world, knowing this game, as big as it is, doesn't necessarily define your season, where a thought process isn't, we're not trying to win the game? I want to make it abundantly clear. You're obviously trying to win the game. But that maybe within the game you recognize if something doesn't look right, and perhaps you say, hey, it might be time for us to run the football and live with whatever the result might be because of it?
Well, I think they're going to run the football anyway because that's what they're really good at. I mean, they had 250 yards last night, and that's what they're going to hold their hat on. I don't think anybody wants to go to San Francisco or play the San Francisco 49ers and drop back and throw it 50 times a game because that's a recipe for disaster right there. So you have to control the line of scrimmage, and hopefully, the backup left tackle can hold his own, and they'll get Patrick Ricard out there, maybe get some 2 tight end sets and a fullback and try to dominate the line of scrimmage like they can do. I think that's the biggest chance they have to win. Throwing the football against San Francisco, it's edge pressure and Eric Armstead coming up the middle. It's not good.
Yeah, you're asking an awful lot. How do you beat the 49ers, Coach? Like what is the I'm not trying to anoint them already as Super Bowl winners, but we know that they don't have a lot of weaknesses. How do you beat them when they're healthy?
Yeah, I thought Baltimore's the best team in the AFC, but San Fran's the best team overall. I could be wrong. I've said a lot of different things, but it's hard to because offensively they're playing at such a high level. And I've mentioned this before. They have the 3 best blocking wideouts I've ever seen on tape. I mean, Jennings, Ayuk, and Samuel. They're very unselfish. They'll block on the perimeter on screens. They'll block for McCaffrey, and then obviously they can hit you with yards after the catch, and they can hit you down the field. There's really not a lot of things. There's really nothing they can't do offensively. And then defensively, I mentioned they have probably the 2 best edge rushers in the league, tandem, the best inside linebackers, Baltimore, and I think San Fran are probably tied. They both have great inside linebacker play. Obviously, defensively, and then Ward is playing at a high level at corner. So I don't know. It's very difficult. The best way to beat them is keep their deep offense on the sideline and do what Baltimore does, what they did to Jacksonville last night. Have some 8 to 10 to 12 play drives, eat up some clock, and try to wear them down and get them in the fourth quarter and get them like that. Try to get after Purdy towards the end of the game. But if San Francisco plays with the lead, good luck. It's going to be very difficult to beat them.
Yeah, it's they are a juggernaut, man. They are an absolute machine at the moment. Coach, we saw something interesting, and I wanted to see your thoughts on it last night. Obviously you're an offensive mind. Todd Monken, without Mark Andrews on the field, he took Charlie Kolar, who's moving into a bigger role, but still, has been largely a sparingly played player. And when they were in a tush-push situation, they put him under center, big 6'6" frame, and they had him fall forward. And my first thought was, wow, this is genius. Like, why expose your franchise quarterback to any piles, to anything unnecessarily, and you get a bigger guy. You get someone with a bigger frame to fall forward, absorb the contact, and perhaps be able to stretch the ball out further. Is it like maybe everybody else is playing checkers, they're playing chess type of thought to say, hey, when we're in these tush-push situations, we're not going to have Lamar Jackson be the one to take the snap?
Yeah, I mean, that's happened before. Travis Kelce's done it a lot with Kansas City. They line up a shotgun and motion him back and forth. He takes a snap and does a quarterback sneak. There's been other tight ends that do that. The only reason I didn't do it in Washington, I was afraid that we'd fumble the damn snap.
Yeah,
that would be,
no, I get it.
That would be torture. I'd be going to the podium and say, why in the hell,
Right.
But if the guy can do it, man, you're exactly right. You want a bigger body to push and take your quarterback out of harm's way, because some of those quarterbacks take some shots on those quarterback sneaks. And Lamar is not the biggest frame guy. He's not like Jalen Hurts with squat 600 pounds, or Josh Allen, who's 6'5", 260. He's a slightly built guy. You don't want him in those piles.
Yeah. By the way, your thought process about having to go to the podium and say, why did you have somebody besides a quarterback taking a snap, right? And
yeah.
it doesn't change the fact that the thought process was correct. Like, you had the right idea. But, boy, you can't win that with us, can you? Like, we're just going to kill you.
Yeah.
It's just the way
I've had some tough press conferences, but I don't want to add another one to the list.
Where are you with the I know the NFL met about it last week. Where are you in general with the idea of banning the tush push?
It's a quarterback sneak. It's been a play that's been around forever, and I don't know why you would do it. I mean, not every team can do it. You saw Minnesota tried to tush push with a wideout behind them back-to-back times, and they got stopped. As a play caller, if you have 3.5 a foot or 4.5 a foot, I mean, that's the best way, I guess, percentage-wise to get it. I mean, if you turn around and hand to a back that's 7 yards deep or whatever, I mean, the odds aren't quite as in your favor. But I think that's a play that's been around forever, and I think it should stay in place.
All right. I want to ask you about the rest of the AFC, if I could, Coach. Coach Jay Gruden with us, just another couple minutes here on GCR. Because the question I'm asking is, who's the biggest threat behind the Ravens in the AFC? And the reason I'm asking it is because I wonder if there's any chance that the Buffalo Bills are working themselves back into that conversation.
100%. The way they won the game against Dallas proves that they can actually hand the ball off, and that makes them very, very dangerous, because before he just could play coverage and force Josh Allen to try to make some mistakes, and then you could beat him that way and try to get pressure on him. Now you have to bring that extra guy in to stop the run. Cook had 160, 70 yards.
Yeah.
Now it's a problem. Now you got Stephon Diggs on a lot of one-on-one matchups, and they're going to be very, very dangerous moving forward, and I don't think anybody really wants them. I still think Miami, when Tyreek's back, is pretty good, because they're playing better on defense. They didn't have their best game a couple weeks ago, but I still think with Vic Fangio and Jalen Ramsey and those guys, they'll be right there in the mix. Obviously, Cincinnati and Cleveland, I mean, I think both those coaches have done a great job with their backup quarterbacks. I don't really think of them as a threat, but
right.
Cleveland plays really good defense, so they're always going to be in games. And then Jacksonville, obviously, had a letdown last night. And then Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes are always a threat.
Can I ask, just because what do you make of the Miami thing where they haven't beaten a good team this season? Is that an anomaly, or is it like genuinely concerning that they play their best against bad teams and don't play as well against good teams?
Well, it's good that they're playing good against bad teams, because not everybody can do that. Because
that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
Beat the teams you're supposed to beat, and then when you're playing against a good team, and sometimes it happens that you win, but you're going to put yourself in the conversation. You're going to get yourself in the dance. That's the most important thing. And then hopefully come playoff time, you will raise your level of play against those better teams, and especially if you have to go on the road. But you're trying to get a home game in the playoffs, then maybe go on the road and try to get yourself an upset, which they will be able to with the speed that they have on the field with A-Chain and obviously Tyreek and Waddle and Mozart. I mean, they're dangerous. I don't think anybody is really looking forward to playing them. Hey, they're going to be a good team. Let's play them. I don't think you really want to.
No doubt. No doubt. All right, Coach. I know the 33rd team, people can see a lot of your stuff, but you also you got like a family thing going on, right?
Yeah, me and my son do a little taking the points thing just for fun. We try to predict the games on Tuesdays afternoons and have some fun with it. and I'm crushing them in the predictions. By the way, still hard to do.
I still feel like you
hard to get them all right.
You kind of have an inherent advantage considering who you are.
Not really. I'm telling you, not really at all. When you try to pick these games, there is no advantage whatsoever. You could literally flip a coin.
I had a rough week. Rough week. That Tennessee Houston thing is still sitting poorly with me. At TTP_NFL is how you find out more about taking the points. Coach Jay Gruden, you can find him on Twitter at Coach_Jay Gruden. Always appreciate you, man. Thanks so much for hopping on with us again. Happy holidays to you, your entire family, all right?
I appreciate it. You too.
It's Jay Gruden with us here on GCR, offering his thoughts. Pretty funny. He definitely, I went and rewatched the video. He definitely said the Ravens were the best team in the NFL. He's like, man, I thought I said they were the best team in the AFC. Yeah, he does say in the NFL. Maybe speaking out of turn. It's weird because, like, we'll get that answer, on Monday. Whoever wins the game on Monday night will be declared. They'll be the team. They'll be number one in all the power rankings. That'll be the way that it goes. But as I said before, that just doesn't matter. It's just not relevant. Nobody wants to hear that, but it's who cares who the number one team is in power rankings on December 26th. They don't give you a banner or a trophy or any of those things for that. And somebody might hear this. If you're in San Francisco today, you're like, that sounds like loser. No. Hi, meet me, Glenn Clark. I am a pragmatist. Pragmatically, I would love to see, it would do wonders to see the Ravens go to San Francisco and beat the 49ers. That'd be awesome. If they don't, I will not come on here and overreact. Because the story will then be, what are they doing against the Dolphins? In a game that I seriously hope is not played at night. Seriously.
What's the deadline?
Really hurts that the Packers and the Vikings both lost this week. Really hurts. Because they were both, if they had both won their games, then they would both still be in playoff position. The Vikings still are at 7-7 in playoff position. The Packers, with that loss, they slip all the way to the 11th spot in the NFC. Maybe if both teams win, right? Like, I don't know, who do they play this week? Who do the Packers and the Vikings play?
Who cares? Yeah.
Wow.
They don't matter. They don't matter.
No, it does in figuring out whether or not that will be the Sunday night game and protect the Ravens from being flexed to New Year's Eve, which I don't think anyone
the Ravens
wants.
Should. I mean, no one wants it, but
that's the
should
point. The point is, how do you keep the Ravens out of the Sunday night game?
The Vikings play the Lions this week.
The Lions look really good.
Oh, Packers play the Panthers, who are coming off a win.
It's true. They're hot now.
In Carolina.
Don't let the Panthers get hot.
Hopefully Christian Watson's back.
I'm worried this weekend because I really did believe as long as those teams stayed that you wouldn't. The brands are also good, right? The Packers brand is excellent. Oh boy, it might be the difference. I mean, the Ravens, the Dolphins, likely playing for the number one seed in the AFC. God, that will suck. Oh, it will just suck so much. That might be a week where Project Game Day is me. Hey, KZ. KZ's got nothing going on. He's not going out for New Year's. He'll do it with me. I don't think Femi actually is a big go-out guy either anymore, so he might still be good. I don't know where Rita. I think Rita told me she does not have New Year's Eve plans. She just doesn't want to spend it doing
this. Yeah,
exactly right. I got a text. KZ wants to retract. I got after KZ a little bit on game day last night because he described the throw.
Fire Harbaugh?
No, he not last night for a change, which is
okay.
nice. He described the throw, and I saw Bo do this too. I'll get after Bo about it. He described Lamar Jackson's throw to Isaiah Likely as ill-advised, and I said, I'm like, I felt the exact same way as I was watching it unfold.
A Jaguars jersey go up for it first. It was,
and then I watched the entirety of the dots because you don't have the all-22 video yet. And the dots say, in that moment, it was the absolute best option that he had. It looked, as the ball's in the air, like Zay Flowers is wide open. But it looks that way because the safety who was on Flowers does an unbelievable job of racing from perfect coverage on Flowers to getting back to double Isaiah Likely as the ball's in the air. The dots tell you the only possibility in that spot is that maybe Lamar might be able to notice that Gus Edwards is about to cut back to his left into the middle of the field, and if he does, he could lay the ball out a little bit in front of Gus Edwards and see if he could get to the ball. But it's asking, at the moment where Lamar is about to throw the ball, Gus Edwards is covered. Everybody's covered. Isaiah Likely, giving him a chance to go high point of football, is without a doubt the best option that you have. Now, it ends up looking awful because the safety gets back and he ends up being double covered, but in the moment, it is definitively the best option that he had, KZ says. I'd like to recant the, quote, maybe ill-advised throw, unquote, comment from last night after rewatching the film. Just an insane play by Lamar. Carry on. The safety actually made a great effort to get back, but Likely was open. Correct. And still, Lamar somehow, off his back foot, put it in a spot where Likely was the only one that had a good chance of getting the football. It's unbelievable. And an unbelievable catch as well. Just every element of it was unbelievable. But the ill-advised thing, it looked that way on television, but after you see more of it, I don't think it was ill-advised. I think it was his best option in the moment. If the safety had come back and made the interception, it would have been a phenomenal play. And we would have beat Lamar Jackson up about throwing off his back foot, but we would have had to have recognized it was an unbelievable play. It was going to be almost impossible for him to do because he can't high point the ball the way that Isaiah Likely can high point the ball. All right. You're calling him? All right, we'll call him. That's fine. Today's show brought to you by the best of issue of PressBox, which is available right now at your neighborhood Royal Farms, any of the hundreds of locations around town where you find PressBox. You can read it all at PressBoxOnline.com. On the cover, our Mo Gabba Sports Person of the Year, Brandon Hyde, as well as our Team of the Year, the Baltimore Orioles. Go pick it up for free today. You can read it all, PressBoxOnline.com/best of. As inside, we also recognize the top people, performances, and moments of the year. It is our biggest issue of the year. It is one that we care about a great deal, put a lot of effort into this print issue, the best of issue of PressBox, which is available right now for free at your neighborhood Royal Farms. Joining us now, the man who is going to be, you're going to see him if you get our family's Christmas card. Just pay close attention. You might notice this man. He is my buddy Jeremy Conn. ConcreteLocks.com, Big Bad Morning Show on 105.7 The Fan. What's going on, bud? How are you?
I'm good, man. So I got to ask about the Christmas card thing because I didn't approach you first.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy that, or was that a pain in the ass?
I loved it. I thought it was tremendous. Okay. I thought it was awkward when it was me that was being replaced. I was like, wow, I didn't realize I was that replaceable. But I even enjoyed that. I found all of it quite entertaining. And I the way that you were able to get people to move that quickly, I got to be you one day, man. Like I ask people that work for me to do stuff, and I can't get them to move that quickly.
And there were a bunch of other ones that I was sent. I tried to send you the best ones, but you were tagged. But I didn't want you to miss anything. But I just wanted to let you know that if I did have to change places and I had someone as lovely as your wife, I would take her out for a seafood dinner, but I would also call her again.
Man, you are a sweetheart. You are a determined sweetheart. Look at you, pal. I appreciate. No, it was highly entertaining.
I did like the one where somebody took my face and put them on everybody's body.
Yes, that was a lot.
Family.
That was a lot.
They took how many different pictures of me did they find to make that work where each face was different?
The one of you though on the Nutcracker, I mean, you just can't do better than that. That is perfect.
Yeah.
Of you just kind of creeping and like.
And you know the hand. You saw the picture the other day. So Maria Dennis from 1019 bought a bag of fake little hands. And so, I put them. I was doing all kinds of goofy poses with them, and so that's the one we posted online. And somebody took that and put that in your Christmas card, which I do hope that's the real Christmas card too. So.
I am afraid that Mrs. Clark may have already sent out Christmas cards, but I am going to inform her to run another batch. It is time to run
Christmas in January.
Batch. All right, a couple of things I have to deal with you. One, I need to know, because I only got to saw a part of the video. When you surprise Rob, are you completely naked or just tarp off?
Yeah, because we're in the build. So, like, it was weird. I was talking about how did this even come up? I said something on the air about somebody stripping down naked or whatever, and then Joe, our producer, came in and said it would be hilarious if you guys, because I've always had the bit of doing the walk by somebody recording in a studio and then take off an article of clothing,
right.
Walk back, taking up, and then like, are they looking up going, did somebody naked just walk by? You know, I've always, I don't know why I find that funny. Maybe most people don't, but like to me, it's stupid, but it makes me laugh. So we were telling a story similar to that, and Joe was like, wouldn't it be hilarious if you just took off your clothes and Rob came back and pretend like nothing happened? And of course we couldn't, because as soon as he walked in the studio, he started yelling, like, what's he doing? And getting on me. So, but it was funny to get his reaction. And Ed's just in the back corner, like giggling like a schoolgirl.
By the way, every Christmas I'm reminded of how many times Ed screwed up when he and Daniel Stern were trying to rob Kevin McAllister's house. I just don't understand why it is that he kept putting himself through. At some point, you know, you've cleaned up the entire street. Like, what do you? Why? I know it's the big tuna, but like, come on, man. Like,
he's one of the wet bandits.
Correct.
Did you know? I just saw this, by the way. How old do you think Daniel Stern was in the first Home Alone?
Somebody told me that we're all older than We are all now older than Daniel Stern was in the first Home Alone. Like, he was in his 30s, correct?
Yeah, I think he was 38. So, yeah.
Boy.
And the other one that always gets me is when people talk about Wilford Brimley in the movie Cocoon, and he's like 48 years old, and he looks like he's 100.
There's a Twitter account that's like the Brimley line or something like that, right? Like, where it says every day it wishes celebrities that are surpassing the Brimley line a happy birthday.
It's crazy. Some people age gracefully. I age like milk. So.
You are looking good these days. You're looking great. I say that. I also wanted to point out, why have you never got me the sexy pajamas that I hear you advertising?
Yeah, I should. So I've started because my wife has gotten them so many times. I did give sexy pajamas to my mother-in-law, which I wasn't sure if that was okay.
I'm sure that everybody enjoyed that. I think that's a thoughtful gift.
But it was weird when I made her wear it in front of everyone just to make sure it fit and it was nice. But you know, but no, like it's funny because I have started talking to my wife. Like, are you getting too many pairs of pajamas where now we start gifting this to somebody else, or how does that work? And I would definitely love to send some naturally nude pajamas your way with that free naturally nude nightie as well.
I'd really like it if you did that. In fact, I'd be willing to try it on for you to make sure that it fits.
Yeah, it's so seductive with a curve caressing fit. I don't know if you knew this, but it's really nice.
There is nothing that I enjoy more than hearing you talk dirty. It makes me so happy.
We were talking about the life med reads that I do because, you know, I always get the erection ones and, you know, the ED ones and all that stuff, and which all of it's, you know, they help out so many different people. But like, it's funny because somebody said, why don't they give Vinny the read where he'd be like, yeah, they got large erections, Bob, and you get stronger ones and more pleasurable orgasms. Like, get him going on it. And I thought that would inherently be great. So
I'd really like him to do that.
Because he did win Press Box's
He did. Pitchman of the Year he won. That was tough. I want you to know you came in third. And you know, it was a hotly contested battle. It was a good fight. And I don't know what else to tell you. We heard Stan do the same sexy pajama read, and he finished in second because of it, because it was so.
Oh, really?
It was.
See, Stan has one of my favorite reads, the Charm Shitty Ice read, where the ice is nice. It's the perfect read. I love when Stan does that one.
Oh, that is good. Jeremy Conn is with us.
They still in business?
I don't know if I have no idea if Charm City Ice is still in business. All right, you're good for Thursday, correct?
Yes, I'll make it happen.
All right, 10:30. There's a rumor that Femi's coming by too now.
I like that.
Griffin, what is the status of the Malort cookies? Where are we with that? Your microphone has to be on.
Yeah, it would. I guess I gotta locate some Malort, and then we need to find the recipe.
Malort is pretty easily available.
Where's
correct?
Malort? Is it at
Well, so the easiest place, the liquor pump in right there in, I guess you would call that like off of Perring Parkway. That guy has that guy.
I tell you what, if you need me, I'm going to be in White Marsh tonight, and I'm going over to the Hamilton. I can stop and get Malort if that's the only place we can look it up. I'm pretty sure it's more readily available than that. But if you need me to
my
get it,
bar right now. I don't have much. I have.
But I know I love you.
No, I got like a shot worth of Malort.
Right,
and if we do make Malort cookies, I have a friend that loves Malort, so I'd have to take him one, or at least see if he'll come by and eat one.
Understand it, but is there a willingness to do it, Griffin?
Of doing cookies? Yeah,
the Malort cookies.
Yeah.
All right, we got to make that happen. All right, Malort cookies are on the list. I ordered the fiery Bean Boozled jelly beans.
Oh, nice.
I had those shipped over. They should be getting here on Wednesday, so we should have those in time. So we will incorporate that into some sort of game that we play, probably a John Proctor trivia contest of some sort. I had a suggestion over the weekend, Jeremy, that you and I attempt to recreate the Kelsey brothers version of Fairy Tale of New York. Are you down for that?
I'm down for anything, but I don't know if I've heard it yet.
I don't know about that. Oh, you haven't heard? They did a Jason and Travis recorded them singing Fairy Tale of New York a couple weeks ago, and it was literally the #1 song in the country. Like,
really?
Yeah,
didn't hear it.
Yeah.
Well, I had the flu all last week, so I was really in bed. The 2 days that I went to work, I came right home and went right back to bed. So
all right, so
that was a fun time.
It's basically, it's honest to God, if you know Fairy Tale of New York, it's just like a dude doing a chick part, right? Like one of us has to choose that we're going to do Christy McCall's part from Fairy Tale of New York, and we will handle that. I don't have live music lined up yet, but I will work on that today. I know that Guilford Hall Brewery is coming by with beer for us as well.
Nice.
John Colson's working on the food. We're going to have a day on Thursday. So you can still get in if you want to join us. But you got to commit to donating $100 to helping up Mission.
Seems like this is a once-in-a-lifetime, or at least until we do it next year, opportunity.
100%. It's a every year in a lifetime opportunity. As
soon as I was saying it, I'm going, aren't we going to do this again next year?
We will almost certainly do it again next year. And we will do something. We will do even dumber things. I have no doubt when we do it again next year.
I'll juggle with a beer bottle in my ass or something. I'm not very good at juggling, but
I'm willing to give it a shot. I'm willing to see.
For you guys, I'll try anything.
Oh, I know that's true. All right, you want to say anything? I don't want to keep it forever because we're having to do the whole show on Thursday. Anything you want to say about last night? Anything you want to say about the Ravens? I don't know.
No, look, the Keaton Mitchell stuff really sucks, man, because I thought he was kind of coming into his own. And like outside of the football thing, you just feel really bad for a player that, like, I do think the Ravens are going to miss him because there's an explosiveness that I don't know that anyone else in that backfield besides Lamar has. And when you have those two guys in there, I feel like that speed is something that teams have to, like, you look at what Miami deals with on a daily basis because they have that speed and what teams try to do when they're not, or when they don't have one of those guys. It's just crazy. So now you see that type of speed in the backfield that the Ravens could have. I was just really liking it and hoping that he was going to start getting more touches. So it was just a horrific injury to watch. Other than that, though, they're 5-point dogs at San Francisco. I think they're going to be in that game. And Lamar is right there up top with some of the guys from San Francisco, Purdy, McCaffrey for the MVP right now. So turns out that it's a stupid thing, but that game means so much for the MVP race. But ultimately, I think it's a nice litmus test for the Ravens to see where they're at, because I do think the 49ers are the best team in football.
It's a weird thing for me to talk about, right? Because that part of what you just said is absolutely true, right? What's at stake on Monday night is whoever wins that game is the #1 team in all the power rankings, and it might very well determine who wins MVP. And yet, at the same time, I have to be realistic about it. I don't think it's a critically important game for the Baltimore Ravens. Like, it would be cool if they won. It'd be fun. But if they don't, I don't think it changes much of anything, nor does it nor do I come away from it saying, well, now they can't win the Super Bowl.
You know what it tells me is, like, the fact that it's 5 points. Like, I've talked to some people in the industry, and they've always said, and whether it's true or not, when they come out with that number 5, they don't really know which direction to go, because it's, you're so close to 7. You're so close to, it can work down to that 4, 3.5 range. But it's a really weird number because you don't expect games to fall in it. But there are things that I think you'd have to look at. So the Ravens will be on back-to-back road games coming off of, it's not a short week, but when the travel late at night, it does kind of change things. And now you're going to face arguably the best team in football and one of the hottest teams in football, and you're only a 5-point dog. I think it says a lot about them, because if they can win this game, I'm not saying the deck's stacked against them. It wasn't like they're coming off of a super short week and got to play these guys again or whatever. But the travel does, that falls into it. And then you've got that possible look-ahead game to Miami. So that's the more important one right now with the way everything stands. But Miami has the Cowboys this weekend. So be Dallas fans for Ravens will be Dallas fans this weekend at least.
It is a funny thing because I can say it doesn't matter, but as we pointed this out earlier, if Miami were to lose on Sunday and the Ravens were to win on Monday, you kind of make the Dolphins game no longer matter, right? Like it's a weird vibe. I just can't overreact to this one. It's a big game. It'll be a fun night. The entire country will be paying attention. I just don't know that the result is all that significant when it's all said and done. I just have to be realistic about it. And then I want you to answer this question honestly. I want to have a legitimate conversation about this, which you and I aren't good at. You're no longer taking checks from press box, so you can have an informal opinion about this, or impartial opinion about this is what I meant to say. We did our best of issue last week, and we named Brandon Hyde this year's Mo Gabba Sports Person of the Year. Your thoughts?
I love it. You start thinking about different people, and I just love what he's been through. Obviously, you're going to look for one of the bigger sports stories or something that's really cool, and you guys are going to pick. I think the Orioles probably were the best story this year, and maybe I'm missing something, or I'm biased on it. But I love the fact that because I do think he's a genuine person. He was one of those guys that was around Mo, and I do believe he's also one of those guys that there's no excuses with him. Like he's not one to sit here and say, well, this is the reason. Well, I got the lowest payroll. I didn't have this. They just keep plugging away and pushing forward. And it's weird because I thought he was going to be the guy before the guy, that he was doomed to get fired. And now I want to see is what he can do when he has more, when they start spending money, whatever that is. But I do like the pick there. And I think it's so cool that Pressbox does it, man. I have my ties with Pressbox, obviously with me starting my website and everything else and some of the other work that's coming up. I'm joining the Green Turtle Sports Book, which so I'll be there in like Towson and Canton. I think tonight I'm in Canton giving away some 50-yard line Raven seats. So if you come out and it's free to sign up, but like all the gambling and different things we're going to do, I'm really excited to be a part of that. So obviously I got pulled in some different directions, but I have like the utmost respect for Pressbox, and they did a lot for me over the past couple of years. So it was really kind of a tough decision that I don't even think I really made it. I think my business partner made it, but I still love doing it, and obviously love coming on the show and chatting with you guys.
No, and we appreciate.
Well, mainly
that.
Griffin. I mean,
no, right, correct. Did you see Griffin in his underwear a couple weeks ago?
I did, but I've seen that so many times.
That's a great point, right?
Old hat at this point.
We had to hose off our friend Wendy. She was so excited about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was. She was quite interested.
She's on the prowl?
Yeah, she was very, very.
When is she coming in for a drinking show?
I asked her about Thursday. Would you text her? Like, I said, do you want to come in on Thursday? She's like, well, I work at night. I'm like, Wendy, I do the show in the middle of the day. You know that. Like, you've done it before. So can you text her and try to pressure her into coming in on Thursday? Because I don't know what the deal is.
It's not that far from her house either. So I think we can make this.
The only issue is I'm not allowed to curse as loudly and frequently as I did last week or last year.
We're further away.
Apparently, we nearly got kicked out of the building or something like that last year because
we're definitely going to be louder this year. So just let John and everyone know. And if the Navy needs to come over, we can handle that by ship or by sea, whatever. I don't know what we say, but we appreciate the Navy.
Yeah, we do love the Navy. Let's make it. I think it's the Army actually who's next door. We like them both though. Like fans.
Oh, it's the Army? Oh, then I'm definitely on board.
Yeah, right.
Get the boots on the ground, baby. Let's see what happens.
That's what you've always said. We used to have a like a toddler thing across the hall, like across the way. There was like a child care thing. Apparently, they decided to move out after we sent our intern out to sunbathe one day.
In his underwear?
Yeah, I mean, is there another way?
Trunks.
Yeah. And they moved out shortly after that. So,
well, if I show up in my underwear, maybe Griffin and I can do a jog around the building. That would be okay.
I think, you know what? This is a popular area for jogging, so I am in favor of it. All right, ConcreteLocks.com, at JConSports, Big Bad Morning Show. And as he mentioned, the Green Turtle. You can now find him basically all the time, correct? Like it's either at the radio station or you're at the Green Turtle.
Yeah, most of the time. I mean, it's usually like 4 or 5 days a week. I'm there for the football games on Saturdays and Sundays. And like I said, Monday in Canton, giving away tickets. Thursday in Towson, giving away tickets. So, yeah, good time.
Awesome, man. Love you, buddy. We will see you on Thursday. Looking forward to it.
I'll see you guys. Thanks, man.
Jeremy Conn with us as he is every Monday here on GCR. All right, when we come back in, we are going to go over Pats on the Ass. Then we'll get a tidbit and two-bit to wrap up for a Monday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. Hey Ravens fans, looking for the perfect new game day brew? Get a Guilford, Baltimore's finest craft beer during the next home game at the bank. That's not all. Gather your flock next home game and check out Guilford Hall Brewery's brand new bar, the Gilly Nest, located near Section 505. No tickets? No problem. Enjoy all Ravens games all season long at our restaurant and brewery in Station North. Guilford Hall Brewery, European tradition, Baltimore charm.
Come for a game, stay for everything else. Book an unforgettable fall getaway in Charm City. Enjoy only in Baltimore festivals, mouthwatering eats, and endless entertainment. Treat yourself to a staycation in the heart of downtown, or try one of the city's many charming neighborhood hotels. And don't miss out on packages for free parking, breakfast, and more. Plan your stay at baltimore.org/hotels.
Why bet with the big boys this football season? Instead, try your hand with the local book, Superbook Sports, this fall. Superbook Sports is the book next door. Just a dedicated team of the best odds makers in Las Vegas, making sure you get the best prices and parlays anywhere. And now, Superbook will give you a bonus of up to $250 when you sign up and wager on the same day and use the promo code GlennClark23, GLENNCLARK23. So bet with the best and use the promo code GlennClark23 this football season with Superbook Sports. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
6 chicken tenders made from fresh, never frozen Royal Farms world-famous chicken, a family-sized order of Western fries, honey mustard dipping sauce, and a 2-liter bottle of Dr. Pepper. It's Royal Farms' new Tucker's Tenders Meal. It's Justin Tucker's favorite, and at only $19.99, it'll be your favorite meal, too. The new Tucker's Tenders Meal, available only at Royal Farms. Now you can kick back, relax, and eat like a champion. Real fresh, real fast, Royal Farms.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Brace yourselves for an unparalleled game day experience at the new Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbook in Canton and Towson. Experience the thrill of live, in-person betting with Baltimore's only state-of-the-art Vegas viewing TV experience. Choose between a person-to-person experience with their on-site tellers or the convenience of their self-bet kiosks to place your bets. Gather your betting buddies and head over to the Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbooks today. Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbooks in Towson and Canton, the ultimate destination for game day excitement, great food, and live in-person betting. Must be 21. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Go to mdgamblinghelp.org.
What company has the expertise to make your home healthier by purifying your air and killing all viruses, allergens, and bacteria? A.J. Michaels, Heating and Air Conditioning in Baltimore and Annapolis. AJMichaels.com.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Make sure you're tuned in every Tuesday for Pressbox Fantasy Football analyst Joe Serpico to get you ready for your Waiver Wire Wednesday, brought to you by Live Casino and Hotel. And if you have other fantasies you want fulfilled, subscribe to Glenn and Jeremy Conn's OnlyFans page at... Wait, are people supposed to know about that?
All right, you got to do white sugar, powdered sugar, a whole egg, grapefruit zest.
Grapefruit zest, is that substitutable or?
What is AP? Is it
what is
flour?
Grapefruit zest?
Zest is just you get a grapefruit and you know like
like peel, like a
kinda
peel?
Yeah
Kinda,
like
okay.
no I mean you're good here. Flour, cocoa powder, kosher salt, baking soda, unsalted butter, vanilla extract, and
so it's
malort.
Cookies, just with malort.
More or less, and grapefruit zest. I don't think most cookies have grapefruit zest. I think that's a little bit different. They look.
So
delicious.
I have to make a grapefruit zest, or
no? You don't.
I don't know what zest is.
Okay. I'm trying to. You basically are grating a grapefruit, like more or less. Like you're more or less.
You think like Walmart just has like a package of zest?
I don't think they just sell zest. No.
They should.
You're more or less just grating
the
grapefruit.
Okay.
All right?
Gosh.
You can handle this. I thought Wayne's Chili Bowl was going to help.
Yeah. I won't be alone. I won't be alone, but
I believe in you.
Oh man, this guy's just drinking Malort.
Well, that part is disturbing. Like, we agree upon that.
Okay, I see.
The problem is, I'm afraid the cookies are good. Like, I'm afraid that we're going to enjoy the cookies.
You would.
I think
so,
maybe
right?
you might have to use slightly more Malort than the guy suggests, just to make sure that we don't fully enjoy the cookies, right? Like, I'm not saying overwhelmingly more Malort.
398 grams of sugar.
That's a lot of sugar.
Why is he?
What?
What that? I gotta measure out. How whatever. I'll figure it out.
I believe in you.
I believe in me too.
You seem very nervous about this.
No, I'm not nervous. It's just
making some cookies with some Malort, man. You can do this. Like, I think you can handle it. And it's going to be the star of the show on Thursday. Should we invite David DuBois back in, or should I try to get like somebody to just come in and play music the whole morning? I haven't decided that yet.
I was
thinking about Dennis Shockett or Rob Fahey maybe coming in and just playing some tunes during the course of the morning. I don't remember who it was. Somebody hit me up this weekend and said, if you guys are doing this, you should attempt to do the Fairy Tale of New York thing, which the boys in the LAPD choir singing Galway, and the bells are ringing out. I'm not going to say the F word. I know that much. I'm going to pass on that.
There's like a 10-second clip you want me to play?
Of what? Of the Kelsey's version? Yeah. Sure, you can play that.
Got cars, biggest bars, they got rivers of gold. But the wind goes right through you, no place for the old. When you first took my hand on a cold.
Did they rewrite the lyrics for Philadelphia specifically at all? Yeah, because that's Broad. He said Broad Street, so it's got to be. Did they rewrite it? So okay, here's what I want you to do.
Oh my God.
No. You're a part of this thing. You want to handle all the charity stuff I'm doing this week? I'll do this. All right? You're the producer of the show.
All right, let me start writing stuff down.
Malort cookies.
Malort. I'm going to have to eat a panettone.
Oh, did you lose?
So it's going to come down to the wire here.
Where are we at?
I'm down by 4, and he has A.J. Brown. I have Devontae Smith. So it's not looking good, but, like, it's not impossible.
I don't know how I would feel about that. I'm trying to pull it up right now so I can see it in front of me.
I should have played. If I played Baker, I would have been in a better position. Not like that much better because Stafford had a good game as well. But I got killed because Tyreek Hill didn't play, Chris Olave didn't play. I was starting Taysom Hill. Dalton Kincaid got 0.
You have an 18% chance of winning.
No, that doesn't mean anything.
Well, it means something.
It means nothing.
So you would need everything to go to Devontae Smith tonight.
That'd be nice.
Imagine this like coming down to the fact.
I need AJ Brown to go ahead and twist his ankle, nothing serious, but
Right. You're gonna lose despite the fact that he got negative points from 2 different players. Do you realize that?
No, I'm not gonna lose.
He got negative points from McManus and from Dante Foreman. Gave him negative points.
I got 0 from Kincaid.
Yeah, that's
and
more than negative
Taysom
points.
Hill.
You got more from Kincaid than he got from Dante Foreman. He got negative points from Foreman. Oh boy.
Well,
Whoa.
Whoa. I didn't say anything. I didn't have Taysom or I didn't have Tyreek Hill. I'm getting mad because I didn't have Tyreek Hill or Chris Olave. God. You guys made me agree to this bet. And I would have won easily.
Make you do anything.
You made me do it.
No. Did you do the underwear thing? You backed out on that. You agreed to this one.
I did the underwear thing.
No, the second one when I wanted you to double down on the second one. Yeah, exactly right. I didn't make you do this. You keep trying to use those words. It don't mean what you think it means. You said no to that. You said yes to this. That's how it works. And you know what we honored? Did I force you to do another show in your underpants?
No.
No. Now, I think anybody would enjoy it if you chose to. I think there'd be plenty of fans for you to choose that. But did I force you to? No. This was on you. You made this decision.
Could have used a Chuba Hubbard touchdown or something.
Yeah, that would have been nice, wouldn't it have been? Could it? Maybe the Broncos not falling behind by $1 billion and running the ball a little bit? That would have been good. That would have been good.
I did win. I'm going to win comfortably in my other league, which is nice.
That doesn't help you in this situation.
Can I take some of those points?
So, here we do. Malort cookies.
Right.
All right. You need to talk to John Proctor today. See if he's coming in. See if he's going to make a quiz. Because if he's not coming in, then you got to figure out if you're going to host the quiz. All right. I need you to look at the lyrics to the Kelsey's version of Fairy Tale of New York. Or I think they did Fairy Tale of Philadelphia. And I want you to see if there are areas where Jeremy and I can re-sing it with a Baltimore theme.
Just say Fayette Street and
yeah, I mean that would be one. I don't know if it would be Fayette Street. We'd have to think about how the tone works.
Yeah,
and I can help you with this, but you've got to look over the lyrics and present to me. Unlike most days where we just sit in silence together after the show's over, like an old married couple. Like, stock market, huh? What are we having for dinner? We're not going to do that. We're going to work together. All right? You're going to look over the lyrics. You're going to pull out things or other areas where you feel like perhaps we can do a Baltimore-inspired version. And we got to decide on music for Thursday, too.
I mean, I enjoyed Du Bois last year.
I love David Du Bois, but he's not going to sit in here and play music all morning with guitar, right? He's just going to sing Crabs for Christmas, which don't get me wrong, I enjoy a great deal. I feel like maybe, Rob Fahey would come in perhaps if he's available and play music all morning for us, like in and out of breaks, things like that.
Gotcha, yeah.
He has a Christmas song that he loves. What's his Christmas song? It's something about he's got a Christmas song that I think is about dogs, and it makes me cry. Like, Rob, don't do that to me. I can't handle it. And I'm not allowed to scream curse words on Thursday, so somehow we have to keep that in check. I got to
add that to the list, too.
I mean, we got to have, like, a rule. Or, like, maybe we set out words that you have, like, a list of things that I'm allowed to say. Like, you got to work
really hard to.
Oh, dag nabbit. Something like that. You got to work on that for Thursday.
Okay.
Our drinking show.
All right.
And then help me with the charity stuff, too. All right. Tonight,
okay.
Chick-fil-A Nottingham Square. Need you there with your donations for Helping Up mission. Need you tonight, 6 to 7:30. We'll be there with Michael Pierce. Make $25 worth of donations or donate $25, and you can get a picture and autograph with Michael Pierce. So please come join us. 5198 Campbell Boulevard in the Nottingham Square Shopping Center. That's where we'll be, Chick-fil-A Nottingham Square. Don't embarrass us in front of Michael Pierce. Like, he's coming out to do this. Don't have, 6 people show up. Like, come on, man. Let's go. I need y'all to be out there tonight. Just swing through. Even if you're not staying for dinner, or if you can't, just swing through, say hello, help us out, help us as we help the Helping Up mission. All right. Pats on the Ass are brought to you by Live Casino and Hotel. Griffin, what's going on at Live Casino and Hotel?
Over at the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland, they have the second chance drawing going on.
Not a lot of time left for that.
Yeah, not a lot of time. If luck was on your side, maybe you're following my picks for whatever reason. I don't know why you'd still be doing that, but in case you were, you could turn those losses into winning opportunities with the second chance to win promotion, because between now and, as Glenn said, it's winding down January 4th, 2024. That is the last day to get in on this. All Live Casino and Hotel Maryland Rewards members will be able to enter their losing bet slips into the second chance to win drum, and then 2 nights a week, 20 different winners will be chosen, with prizes ranging from Live Casino and Hotel Maryland apparel, sports and social, ultimate happy hour, plus cash and free play worth up to $500. Drawings will be held every Thursday and Monday over at the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino in Hotel Maryland. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, let's do it. You know the deal. Pick 5 Ravens, rank them 5-1. Number 1 is your man of the match. Got to have 2 offensive players on your list, 2 defensive players on your list. The 5th can be a special teams player, a coach, or another offensive or defensive player. I will tell you that there were really only 6 guys that I legitimately considered from last night, and the guy that I left off was Brandon Stevens, and I felt bad about it. Actually, that's not true, because I thought about Marlon Humphrey, too. I thought Marlon Humphrey had a good game. But
I agree. He was my 6th guy as well,
yeah,
but I ended up leaving off.
Those were the only ones that were tough for me to leave off the list. Keaton Mitchell is my number 5. Obviously, it stings, it burns, it hurts, it sucks, but when they finally committed to giving Keaton Mitchell the ball, everything looked different in the second half. They ended up running for over 200 yards. Just sucks beyond sucks. But Keaton Mitchell's my number 5.
I went with Kyle Hamilton as my number 5. I mean, the fact that he was even out there was pretty incredible. And then he played. I mean, he played every single snap, and I mean, he was making plays. That tip ball in the end zone to mess up the timing for the Ridley play. Maybe you look back at it, maybe it was a touchdown, should have been a touchdown, but he tipped it enough, and it raised enough doubt that with these officials, that's pretty much all you need to do. So Kyle Hamilton, I mean, he's just so good, and they are a different. They look like a different as they look with Roquan Smith on the field as a defense. They look different with Kyle Hamilton on the field as well. So Kyle Hamilton,
he's my number 4. I thought he was dominant in the first quarter. I thought he was the best player on the field in the first quarter of the game. Kyle Hamilton's my number 4.
My number 4, I went with Kevin Zeitler here.
Okay.
Because I mean, they ran for 200 alone in the second half, right? I wasn't really sure because obviously the tackles didn't look great. I was thinking maybe you throw in Faalele or McCary here, but Kevin Zeitler's he was so solid. The fact that we really didn't say his name at all. There were numerous times where I saw him downfield blocking. So Zeitler, Simpson obviously had the penalty, so I didn't want to go with him. Linderbaum. The snap issue from last week still kind of fresh in my mind, but Zeitler had a really solid day, and on a day that they ran the heck out of the ball, I will go with Kevin Zeitler as my number 4.
I get it. It was tough with the offensive line.
Yeah.
I couldn't put an offensive lineman on my list, but I hear you. I
had to.
Number 3, Justin Madubuike should have had another sack, but the NFL has this dumb rule where if it's an intentional grounding, Femi and I talked about it last night. I heard Brian Baldinger talking about it yesterday. You're literally stealing money away from guys. Like, you're changing the trajectory of their career because they don't get credit for a sack that they had. When it's an intentional grounding, it's a sack. That's what it is. There's some dumb statistical things. I've talked about the lack of logic in certain spots, particularly given the emphasis that we put on statistics. I said for a long time, pass interference yards earned should count for the pass catcher. The way that we talk about, the way that we would goof about Torrey Smith, if you counted his pass interference yards, they didn't count. Guys weren't interfering with him because he was so good at breaking down free and getting open downfield and was a threat to have explosive plays all game. You're taking money away from guys because we define them by their statistics. Sometimes it's even more simplistic. They have escalators. They have incentives in their contract. They get to certain numbers that they'll cash on. You're the reason why a quarterback committed an intentional grounding. You should get credit for a sack. And Justin Madubuike would have had a couple last night. But still, just patently absurd. 11 straight. I mean, it's bonkers. I don't know how to explain it. Justin Madubuike is my number 3.
My number 3, I went with Isaiah Likely here. Similar reasons to Zeitler. I mean, he obviously made some huge catches, a touchdown in there, the play of the year, potentially the catch of the year, I guess, for the Ravens. But more importantly, he was blocking his ass off. I felt like there was numerous occasions where Lamar was getting upfield, and all you saw was Lamar running, obviously, and then you saw 80 Likely because he was blocking somebody and he had his back to the play because he was sealing the edge there and made a lot of room for Lamar to run for nearly 100 yards. So Isaiah Likely obviously had a great game in several facets last night.
Isaiah Likely's number 2. I mean, he's number 2. That's that.
I had Madubuike as my number 2.
Fair enough.
So,
Lamar's number 1. There's no way around it. Magic. I mean, just Lamar Jackson doing Lamar Jackson things other humans can't do. Lamar Jackson's number 1. We don't need to really spend a whole lot more time on it.
Yeah. I mean, imagine thinking, he wasn't worth that contract.
Goddamn.
It's Lamar.
He is unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right, those are ours. Not a whole lot of other suggestions. Some people were trying to be silly and wanted to give it to Brandon McManus. Appreciate that. I certainly get the bit, but we do a thing. It's what it is. Stephen Pimlico wanted to put Justin Tucker on the list. This goes back to those are all kicks Justin Tucker should be making. I know you're saying, well, the other guy didn't make all it. Stop. It's a far bigger problem if Justin Tucker didn't make one of those kicks. A couple people that wanted to put Brandon Stevens on the list, 100%. I absolutely consider Brandon Stevens, and I considered Marlon Humphrey. I really did consider Marlon Humphrey, who I thought had a very good night last night. Continue to get me yours at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter. Not a lot of debate to me. I thought it was a small group of guys that really stood out last night, and were the ones that were deserving of consideration for Pats on the Ass. Did Is this true? Did Tenacious D come out?
Oh, yes. Yeah, Tenacious D walked out.
Were they playing Wonder Boy?
Yeah, they were playing Wonder Boy.
Like live, or was it just
No, it was it was over the thing. But he was Jack Black was in Stephen Wonder Boy Thompson's corner.
The secret of your power?
And as he's getting, because they're putting like
and he lost.
The
right?
Vaseline. Yeah, he did lose. He did lose. He got choked out in the second round.
That's what it goes.
The guy who fought though was very good.
It felt just hard to Kobe Covington. What a victim he is. Clearly, the guy just loves his president.
Oh my God.
And you
Kobe
all
is such a clown.
Just a joke. What a joke.
Yeah, it was kind of it was a very good card, but the Leon Colby fight was a little underwhelming because Leon just kind of cruised to a decision the whole way. The title fight before that was, compared to the Leon Colby fight, it was much more exciting, but was also kind of a grindy decision that Pantoja won. But otherwise, there were a lot of finishes throughout up and down the card, and so it was an exciting card up until essentially the two headliners, really.
This one was not.
Josh Emmett. Did you see Josh Emmett's knockout of Bryce Mitchell?
No.
This was it's one of the hardest punches I've ever seen. He dropped him, and then Bryce Mitchell started going into like convulsions.
Oh God.
Yeah, it was kind of scary. He's okay now, fortunately, but it was pretty wild to see. One of the hardest hitting knockouts I've ever seen. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, there's that.
Yeah,
there's that.
This is why you watch the UFC, man.
Awkward.
Sorry.
Somebody chimes in the comments on YouTube today to say, "Hello, what's your favorite body part?"
This is actually cool. Why haven't we gotten to that yet?
The answer is the philtrum. Big philtrum man over here.
Where's the philtrum?
It's right here.
The between. That's
there.
the philtrum.
Yeah, the philtrum.
Why? We got a Funky wants to know.
Yeah,
Funky wants to know.
I'm good. I think I'm going to avoid that. Nice of you to check in. Thank you very much. I got nothing else there. All right, let's get a tidbit. Tidbit is brought to you today by the Stan the Fan Variety Hour, which returns a little bit later on today. Stan, Ross, and Luke talking baseball. That'll be at 4:30, facebook.com/PressBoxSports. You miss it live, you can see it at youtube.com/PressBoxOnline. Stan the Fan, Ross Grimsley, Luke Jackson talking baseball with you. Obviously still talking about the Tyler Glasnow trade. Anything else that happened over the weekend that I might have missed? I mean, they'll obviously talk about the fact that the lease is being finalized today. I know I'm not really spending a lot of time on it because we talked about it on Friday. If there are any interesting details that come out today, we'll talk about them more tomorrow. But Stan, I'm sure, and Ross and Luke will talk about it today.
Yeah. What did the Yamamoto did not meet with the Yankees?
No, but he wanted to meet again with the Mets, right?
Oh.
Which is kind of weird given...
That's fine.
I don't know. Very weird. All right. What you got?
Browns. They entered the fourth quarter yesterday down by 10. And the Browns had previously lost their last 49 games when entering the fourth quarter down by 10. Before, of course, Joe Flacco led them back to a big comeback win, which not good for the Ravens, but good for the Browns. Browns' last win when trailing by 10 entering the fourth quarter was back in 2014, Week 5 of 2014 against the Titans. You know who was starting for the Browns? Did you guess who the Browns were starting that game?
Manziel.
No, it's not Manziel. I'm trying to think of what year this might have been in his career. It's going to be...
Cody Kessler.
No, not Cody Kessler.
Seneca Wallace.
I think this was before he spent some time as a backup in New England for a little bit.
Brian Hoyer?
Brian Hoyer, yes, led this comeback. That comes from Andrew Siciliano as the Browns had a big comeback. Each of the Panthers' last 3 wins have now come on game-winning scores as time expired. Week 18, the final game of last year, they won as time expired. Of course, Week 8 as well on a last-second field goal, and then yesterday a last-second field goal in the monsoon. The only other time this has ever happened since the 1970 merger, where a team's 3 straight wins all came on game-winning scores with no time remaining. Any idea? It would be the 2015 Baltimore Ravens.
I don't remember that at all.
I don't remember that at all either.
Not even a little bit.
But the Ravens won 3 straight during that ugly stretch.
Yeah, that was
Texas won their 4th volleyball national title yesterday.
Beat Nebraska?
They did beat Nebraska. They are now tied for the 4th most all time. Any idea what 3 schools have more?
Nebraska?
Nebraska does not have more. Sorry, they do. Yes, Nebraska has 5.
Like,
yeah.
Isn't Nebraska like the home of volleyball for whatever?
Right now, they have the 3rd most.
UCLA.
Not UCLA. They are tied with 4 with Texas.
Stanford?
Stanford has the most all time. They have 9 championships. second.
USC.
USC is not. They have 3. Just behind Texas and UCLA. I believe
Hawaii?
Not Hawaii. Hawaii also has 3. This team has 7. I believe they beat Towson last year in the
Well, now that you say that,
should.
I absolutely remember.
I would have known.
It was North Carolina.
It's not North Carolina.
Florida.
Not Florida. State?
It's a state?
Yeah, it is a state.
Ohio State.
Not Ohio State.
Penn State.
Penn State, yes.
Really?
Yes, Penn State, volleyball powerhouse. So they've had the same coach for 45
If you
years or
say so,
something. And he's made
I'll
the
believe
tournament
you.
every year.
How about that?
I know that because they played Towson
All
a
right.
year or 2 ago. So yeah, Stanford, Penn State, Nebraska. And then Sam Laporta, he became the 3rd rookie tight end.
You know what? I actually know the answers.
Oh, you saw this one?
Yeah, I saw that one floating
3rd
around.
rookie tight end with
It's,
700
Mike
receiving
Ditka and
yards.
John Mackey, right?
And 7 receiving
Yeah.
touchdowns. It is Mike Ditka.
I saw that one.
And
Did
John
you
Mackey.
see the Amon-Ra St. Brown joined which 2 players as the only 3 players in NFL history to record 90 catches in each of their first 3 seasons?
Wow. He became the 3rd player to do
3rd
this?
player.
90 catches in each. That is a lot. Did Randy Moss?
Not Randy Moss.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if he got the volume. Jerry Rice.
Not Jerry Rice.
Keenan Allen.
Not Keenan Allen. But I'll go ahead just to speed it up. They are both active.
They are both active.
Yes.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Nope.
Dang. Justin Jefferson.
Nope.
No, this is his 3rd year.
Nowhere close
Yeah.
to his 9th season.
Third. You said in each of their first 3 years.
90. Oh, sorry. Yes,
Yeah,
my fault.
90,
Yes,
yeah,
my
okay.
bad. My bad. 90 catches in each of their
Yeah.
first 3 seasons. My fault. Maybe Justin Jefferson can still get there. I don't know.
Yeah. Mike Evans.
Not Mike Evans.
Julio, because he's active.
Not Julio.
Technically. They're active. A.J. Brown.
Not A.J. Brown.
90 catches in each of their. What? Stephon Diggs.
Not Stephon Diggs.
How am I not getting this? Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Just keep naming active receivers. Just keep going.
DK Metcalf.
Not DK Metcalf.
Tyler Lockett.
Not Tyler Lockett.
Let's run down Debo.
Not Debo.
Man. I was going to say Larry Fitzgerald. He's not active.
Nope. Sure isn't.
Odell Beckham.
Yes.
Odell
You
Beckham
got
Jr.
one. Odell Beckham Jr.
He's a good receiver.
He is.
90 catches with Odell and Amon-Ra. I'll say Adam Thielen.
Not Adam Thielen.
I'll say.
Okay, it'll give it away, but the other one is active.
Okay.
Like he's active, but he's not active.
So it's not Dez. I don't know.
No, Dez is not active.
Yeah. Well, he's okay.
This player is active, but
so he's on
not,
a team.
He's not active.
He's on a team.
Really should have given it away.
Why? I know. He's active, but he's not
He's
active.
not active. He's active. He's definitely not active.
I think the hint might be screwing me up because I'm trying to use that, and I probably shouldn't. He's active. Antonio Brown.
Not Antonio Brown. He's definitely not active. Not on a team. Not. This guy is employed. He's not active.
I'm confused as what you're getting at here.
I feel like you shouldn't be all that confused by it. I feel like the moment that he's played a little this year.
He's played a little this year.
A little.
Jimmy Graham. Yeah, no. Jimmy Graham's had 3 straight
Graham's
games.
had a hell of a stretch. God, you are.
I guess.
My God, you said Jimmy Graham and you can't get to the answer.
He's Michael Thomas.
Thank you,
Michael Thomas.
Jesus.
Of course. It's my next guess.
I could not have described it any better. He's active.
He's played a little bit, yeah.
A little bit.
He's on he's on my IR
yes,
spot.
Yes, he is.
In that.
He's been comfortable on those
league,
IR
I'm about to
spots.
lose to Joe Serpico in.
Comfortable on IR. All right, very good. All right, Tubular is brought to you today by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. The Toyota Tacoma comes in a range of models and trim lines, so you can choose the perfect Tacoma to reflect your unique personality and driving habits. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Tacomas from your local Toyota dealer today. Here's what's coming up tubular-wise as the Eagles and Seahawks will wrap up the week tonight, 8:15 on ESPN, as well as ABC, and I believe there's a Manning cast on ESPN too.
Yes.
Before that on ESPN, you throw out all the records when it comes to the famous Toastery Bowl, the legend of the famous Toastery Bowl. Today at 2:30, Western Kentucky and Old Dominion. Who's leading our
Not a
bowl
good
pick'em?
opening week for me.
No?
In, the bowl. I went 3-4.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You want to check on that real quick? and see?
Winning right now is Jabby Burns.
Oh, Jab. Jab was late to get
6-1.
in. Ooh, nice start.
PSU dad, Jeff Clark.
Are you kidding me? That's my cousin. I don't think he knows anything about me.
He is 5-2. There's several people that went 5-2.
All right. Morgan's in action tonight there at Campbell, 7 o'clock on Flow Sports. By the way, on Thursday, so we know Wednesday, Angel Reese and LSU are playing at Coppin State. Thursday at 1 o'clock, Morgan hosting James Madison, who's now number 20 in the country. Like, Towson plays on Thursday afternoon as well. In a perfect world, I get a lot of stuff done this week, and I pull a double dip that day.
That would be.
In a more realistic world, I don't get anything done this week, and it's just not possible. Look for the best. Nothing else college basketball that matters tonight. And Monumental Wizards Kings at 10 o'clock. NBA TV Mavs Nuggets at 9 o'clock. NHL Network Kraken Stars at 8 o'clock. USA Network for WWE Monday Night Raw tonight at 8. Some non-sports highlights?
Non-sports. It is another episode of Big Brother Reindeer Games, of course. And
of course.
on Seth Meyers, he's going to have Jeremy Allen White and Hannah Waddingham.
What's the White Claw.
Iron Claw.
Is it
Iron Claw?
Iron Claw. Yeah,
Iron
Claw. Yeah.
Hannah Waddingham, of course, she's going to promote her Home for Christmas special again, even though it came out like a month ago.
Oh. I didn't know that was.
It's on Apple
we
TV.
did talk about
Yeah, we
that.
talked
Never
about it
mind, we
briefly.
did talk
Lego Masters Celebrity Holiday Bricktacular on Fox, part 1 of 2. That's on Fox tonight.
Sure.
And then Rob Riggle's going to be on Barmageddon. Can't miss that. Following WWE, whatever, it's tonight on the USA.
Barmageddon. It's the weirdest bit. All right, thanks
Rob
everybody.
Riggle's great.
Sure. Thanks everybody at Pressbox. All of our great sponsors.
Rob Riggle on snake oil.
All of our great sponsors and partners,
Tremendous.
including Live Casino and Hotel, Mother's North Grill, AJ Michaels, Guilford Hall Brewery, Royal Farms, Costa Sin, Superbook Sports, Hartford County, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Oh, see if Carson wants to come in Thursday, too, because I think he's home. Have a great Monday night. Go Morgan Hoops. Duke sucks.